Oh, where you watch? Look where you watch. Know where you watch. Choose the right thing to watch. And this enough to watch. Sticky Stucky Sweet TV with Keith Gargan, Facebook and YouTube. And that enough to watch. The movie star fly take off from Palpatine TV said that. Boom!
A big sound, a big tune.
Ja Holy Emmanuel, I boy. Ja Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. Well, Gideon go busting out them head again. So much oppression poor people face right now. Them crying out for freedom. Them crying out for free speech. Then said them want to stand up like them black liberators, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther and the ancient monarchy where come pave the way, sir. Free up black people from it, tear down them fence, yeah. Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon, well, the Gideon go busting out them head. I listen, I the power of the Trinity. Give us the teaching of His Majesty, and we know war, not every...
Blue, Mr. Gargan, blue. Blue till me dance up me toe.
Oh, somebody ball out one. Somebody say take them out. Lift your hand and say mighty God. Reverse them. Move them. Pull them out. Spray them out. Every cockroach. Every rat. Every criminal. Reverse them. Every chichi boy. Pull them out. Out of parliament. Every criminal, every scammer, every political scammer whose account can't count, all of them whose account can't count, back them out, spray them, they push them, some push up in our parliament, run them out, I drink out the milk, pull them out. Pull them out, mighty God, reverse them, indict them, mighty God, mighty God, mighty God, Holy Ghost, send a Holy Ghost, heist for them, deport them, out of God's house, some people in there, one get deported, back of their yard, send them back, Jezebel, Delilah, send them back at the yard. Ahab, send them back anywhere they come from. Kingston, St. Andrew, Portland, St. Mary. Me I go St. Mary.
Deliver me from my enemy, my God. Set me an eye from those who rise up against me. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity. Save me from the bloodthirsty men. For behold, the lion wait for my soul. The mighty gather themselves together against me, not for my disobedience, not for my sin, Lord. I have done no wrong, yet they are ready to attack me. Rise up, behold, and help me. You, Lord God of armor, the God of Israel, rose yourself to punish the nation. Show no mercy to the wicked, traitor, sealer. They return at evening, holding like dogs, and prowl around the city. Behold, they spat with their mouth, so they're in their lips, for they say, who art us? But you, Lord, laugh at them, you scoff of all the nation. O my strength, I wish for you, for God is my high tower. My God will go before me with his loving kindness. God will let me look at my enemy in triumph. Don't kill them, or my people may forget. Scatter them by their power, and bring them down, Lord, our shield. For the sin of their mouth and the words of their lips, let they be catched in their pride. For the curses and lie which they utter. Consume them in wrath, consume them, and they will be no more. Let them know that God rules in Jacob to the ends of the earth. Selah. At evening let them return, let them howl like a dog, and go around the city. They shall wander up and down for food, and wait all night, if they ain't satisfied. But I will sing of your strength, yes, I will sing aloud of your loving kindness in the morning, for you have been my high tower, a refuge in the day of my distress. To you, my strength, I will sing praises, for God is my high tower, the God of my mercy, Selah.
The schools to open, but we must make adequate provision before we move the persons out of the shelters. We have in respond to the housing crisis. There are still persons that are under tarpaulin, still persons that are under a sheet of zinc. You will still see mothers and children just under a sheet of zinc or under a piece of tarpaulin, right? There are still houses without tarpaulin that are yet to be covered. I have so far been told of allocations to the constituency.
Thing we have to fix in the short and medium term as we move forward. The immediate needs of the constituency as we speak, we have been getting other assistance with regards to food, water, tarpaulins and stuff like that. But the need has really shifted to housing material because every community we visit now to hand out food.
Constituency. And when you come in the constituencies, when you leave, you're going to tell me. Or when you reach, you're going to tell me. And then you're going to say, you know what? I'll leave 25 bags of food around the corner for you. It can't continue, sir. And then you're going to look for me now. And when I ask you the question, when I ask you the two areas that you assess, how you assess those two areas, what are the criteria? What are the strategy? And then you turn to me and then you say to me, you know what? We have 2 staff members who live in those areas. Where is the strategy? How are we going to deal with all it? I don't even think the government know what's going on.
And Hanover is facing a public health crisis that needs immediate intervention. Western Jamaica has already confirmed 11 cases of leptospirosis since Hurricane Melissa. And that's a deadly waterborne disease. I spoke of waterborne diseases 2 weeks ago in Parliament, still no attention. And on behalf of the citizens of
only $10 million as an allocation for housing repair. On the very first day that my constituency office reopened after the hurricane, we had over 600 persons in attendance at the office asking for housing assistance, over 600. And when I went into communities like Mosquito Bottom in Windsor, they didn't even know that there was a deadline given by the government to report on matters such as those, so their information was never captured. I raise it to say to you that the government, you've heard, has given a directive that they are recommending that you give 100,000 to each beneficiary. I have not been able to do so. I have taken the decision that
the simple penicillin that can save lives in the case of leptospirosis, or the treatment of renal failure with fluids early out. Dengue, you identify when it has become the hemorrhagic fever where you're bleeding out and have early intervention as well. And we must have a mechanism where you have real-time reporting of fever. If you have a fever, there must be a way for you to report that you have it so that you can get tested. Vector control has to be augmented by private contractors, bringing in back the part-time worker.
Circumventing normal procedures because the circumstances that we're in require that. It is all the more important that the thing be done in a transparent manner and that all critical stakeholders should be at the table when those decisions are being taken or being reviewed. The Prime Minister, in making that announcement, spoke of a broad-based.
Yes, yes, up and running, up and gunning. Up, 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 up. Anyway, we have some of them things that come up and we kind of look through the PMP press conference or press briefing, whatever. And when we say in a this, I can say, you know, this is just my opinion. But the PMP, them come with a better zest right now, but Mark still need more zest in them thing. Kind of too quiet. And Me even see the shadow health minister, Dr. Dawes, when Mark Golden speak, in body language, I'm a look pan Mark Golden. Come and watch them things there, you know. It's like him I say, this man I need to have some more zest. But you know, I have to respect them leaders still. But the two people must come out there and just burn a really hard fire is Jess and Ian Yales, right? Even Dr. Dayton Campbell, to how him used to really hot in the election campaign, right? Even though I have that zest again, I don't know why. So the PMP them have to roll up them sleeve and come. Because Andrew Wallace now ease up, you know. Him is very arrogant and I use that. And people like arrogancy, you know. Because I say politics and music are the same thing, two corrupted fucking thing. And in a music, if you're not arrogant and have some zest, you're not reach now in the business. That's why you say dancehall. I tell you that from a long time. People say, when it come to music and politics, are the two biggest corruption entity in the world. And we can't tell you that. Yeah, man. Politics are the same thing. So when one side a char iron, people love that. All when them do wrong and all when them wrong, people like the fire on them. And that's a political party. That's why your leader have to really have him teach them sharp like iron. Yeah, man. Sharp like iron. You can't go soft on them people. Because Andrew Wellness, the whole of them follow him, every one of them come like a Rockweiler. PMP can't go like a little mongrel dog no more, brother. And if they keep the press briefings since the election now, and this are more, when we say, straight in your face, up front. I see them do, you know. And it's still not enough to me because the leader now char iron. Because we talk already, Mark Golden, like, him supposed to move him on them. That's all a strong leader do. All when them not tell the truth, you aren't supposed to move. You aren't supposed to fall like that. Like you have some spell and things like that. Get up out of that, brother. And move your them around. Point out the thing, and see, that is that. In this a crisis, that is that. And move your them around. That's just like what Andrew Wallace do. Because that's why I call him. The finger never stop moving, you know. And that is the thing. We look on Barack Obama. I saw him drop it as well. Trump, I saw him drop it as well. And always a move on the place. And point finger. That means you're really serious. I don't see it necessarily as a leader when you have all the momentum. But you can't have you like that and a scratch on like them things and I feel, no, that look weak. And if you look, he point it out and show, Dr. Dawes, I look upon him, you know, in himself, and I say, you know, Mark Well is a good leader, you know. But, you know, the distance, not going to work. Distance go left by the party. You have all a woman like even Dean Morrison, Dixon, what you want to name. But then bring in and talk about health minister and all these things. This woman that just tell, although she can't operate properly, you know, but she just tell like dry eye. And she don't care. So that is a part of the thing. So who can really perform them, use them lie, and that lie now satisfy the party? So now PMP have to really drop, man. I tell that from a long time, you know. They have to use this. Because this is a good press briefing, press conference since the election. Because even at Parliament, they must sleep and things like that. But you know, they're supposed to come out harder than this, man. Come on now. They're supposed to come out harder than this. They can't make them people are really, because they might use that. Look on Daryl Valls. Go on the Parliament, like that, he'll not tell people bad mind. Tell the PMP people them bad mind. All them now says him bring a comeback, and this is a thing where people supposed to unite. But them not united, them play politics. So the PMP party, when I just drop on the distance in the work sometime, you know. You have to be a ragamuffin. You have to be outlaw. It's a cutthroat thing, this politics. Remember, you know. You have fight for your audience, them. Your supporters, them, we vote for you. Twice as much vote for you, just like the JLP. You get the popular vote. The only thing the JLP them do, they stole the election. I want to know that. I want to try no iron pan that. And now I want to really do better, to be truthful. But you know, big up yourself, Jess, and Ian Niels, when you come really with a fire. And Mark Gold and I look and you're supposed to take something from that. You can't come with your presentation, brother, with this soft tone. And like them things don't work. Tone too soft. Compared to the other side. Fight fire with fire. If them a try iron, you try tougher, rustier iron. Make them know. And then, I bet you Andrew will want to do something because other people want to hear, you know, good opposition argument. But them two, and everybody attack, but they're not really, them is attack and a whisper. But me not whisper. My thing is constructive criticism. As a PMP, and nobody can tell me, me not talk for nobody. Me talk for what me see on behalf of the PMP and behalf of the PMP supporters them, we would agree with me 100. You have to be tough. Michael Mann did it tough. In skin up. PJ Patterson, Portia Simpson, Dr. Peter Phillips, he never get the prime ministership because he shoot himself in 9 foot when he contest the election in 2020. That is what him do. But he was a hard operator in the PMP. Very tough operator. Peter Phillips. They were ramp with him. But you know, eventually, he should never contest that election in 2020. And now, without a shadow of a doubt, PMP would in power now. Yeah, man. And if you can see that on top about them, was really bias. Yeah, really bias. But you know, all of them people are hit hard. Mark Golan is a good debater, but it's too distant. And that no work when it comes to especially our opponent like Andrew Wallace. You have to match with him. Anyway, you don't match up with him, then you lose the battle, brother. And that's all it is. You're going to lose the battle. Because you're not supposed to come out and hit harder than that. Punch hole, drill hole. You're supposed to all mention things like this, you know. When them say I go on, it's like a dictator count. It's like it's moving now and dictator. Them things, they will burn them. Because them not true. So all them things, they want to free to talk them things there. If it was Donald Trump and any blood club body or even some Prime Minister of England, them things don't come out of them head, brother. And a fire. Because it's true. We are called out that long time, operating like a dictatorship. So if we don't call it out, we don't have to call it out plain, so it's a dictatorship, you know. Do it in a smooth and cool and collective way. So well then it's like we are moving into a dictatorship and name some country. Yeah. To the, how them are behave. And that will burn them. That means when I fire and I throw a punch. But you don't know how to do that. And alright, if Mark will not head the thing and I'm the head of the thing, then you go have some unruly MP. And we can say big up yourself again, Jess, that little girl, that little woman, the new MP from down in the west. Yeah man, big up, beg her up. And Ian Yells. Them come out strong. And I saw the whole PM, that's what the whole party supposed to pitch them tent. You know where you pitch a tent, we camp out. We have to dip on one level under one umbrella. But the leader have to be stronger, brother. And the truth. A lot of people not going to like what I say as well, you know, I care zero. Because I not talk with people. I talk the truth and what me see. And me is not a one-sided type of person. If I see my party not rascal, I'm doing the right thing what I'm supposed to do. And just me alone see it. Thousands and thousands of people see it. People are talk out to. People get fed up. Bundy Killer said, why? Poor people fed up. Well, people fed up. Mark's supposed to come out that liquor and that, man. I come with them small argument and have your finger like that and thing like that and thing like that and all these rascals. Like. Them things don't work. And the church is there, brother. It's a war zone on we, you know. Because they might put the war to we. We can't throw the white flag, brother. Eh? Supposed to move your hand around. Talk like, you know, see it and really. But when they say, well, in blood clot, you hear the speech of Mark Willing on fire. We don't see that yet. I don't see that yet. We don't see it from Dayton Campbell either, compared to when them a campaign in the election was just gone. That was fire. That was real blood and fire. Now, them thief election, when it's supposed to more. Yo, let me tell you something, man. What go on? I don't know what go on. I don't know what go on, you know. But in the end of the day, my thing is to just dissect things and just look on it and say my piece on it. That's all it is. I'm not going to wrestle and mix up. I'm not going to talk nothing when because remember, you know, you talk as a wrestler, original PMP. We support that from long time. As a manly heights, to a manly stand for. And me talk already, I could never vote for labor right. And me said that already, you know, to all labor right, what we see them do by growing up in the 70s in Jamaica. We see enough. Them people have some wicked set of creatures them, believe you me. We lose people in the fight close to me. Labor right take them out. Burn them with tire and all them things there. You think so well and tell you something, people. And I want, you know, so one and Mr. would never vote labor right, and when you grow up and look at certain things. And Mr. was in Jamaica 2015 when Andrew Wellness a campaign when Portia is still in a power, still the Prime Minister. And the things that me hear Andrew Wellness talk on the campaign trail. And we see on television and things like that. And you know, them come out of center and I watch it and we see them. And the things that me talk, what the man what the brother talk, you know, me I say, you know, so I'm gonna vote for the brother here. Because at the same time, crime did ramping high. People are losing them life. So I know there's known that happen. So we want to say, well then, all this man has come talk now. Me I say he's a younger brother and he might have what it takes to make a change. Because I'm tired of things and what people want to hear. And what me like to hear too. When him come and say, well, you can't sleep with the doors and window open. That was something that strike my eyes and strike my ears. And I say, you forget about say, well, in labor right. And not about the party itself, you know. It's where them are present and where. So you say, well, then, this brother was a young guy. Well, you never know. That's why I say, you know, you see a man face, you never see him heart. And that's all it is. So you see, me did wrong, but you learn what you do now also. Me pay to learn. That's why I say, them are some evil son of a gun. Them just lip service, talk, and don't mean a word of them say. You call it works, word without works. A lot of words and no works behind it. So that them stand for. You know what I mean? So that is as far as where it go with me. So labor right under some people me like when me see how them behave. But when me hear this brother talk, me say, well, the new kids on the block, forget about the party. If him can come and talk what him a do, what him say, talk what him say, him gonna do. the man saw a thing in the campaign say, there's no police can come out there and brutalize our citizens. They have to hold accountable. And our government, when we farm a government, all these things, I say, what? And look what happened now. Police and best friend. Police can't run for him. That is just lip service. Lip service. Word without works again. So, him show up himself there, so something what me do, me learn from that. And we can talk on that. So, we know them. So, they're not going to change. So, they want to take the country away and we have to wake up. So, that's why I say, people who represent us as opposition have to more bold. Have to more viceroys. Them can't make one side. That alone will kill them off. And again, me I say big up Jess and Ian Yales, because but Mark Wallen still come up with him soft approach. That is not a leader. I don't busy with no blood clot body want to say. I don't give a shit. Because my opinion and my opinion. Me just see the thing and talk what me see, because a lot of thing me talk in my video and come to pass and a lot of way, But me now but I go down that the road today. But people have the more you can't be a choir boy I want to and no choir boy don't blood clot win election. Choir boy don't win election. Choir boy belong in a church. And that is the facts. That is the facts. Peter Phillips well. You see Peter Phillips, Andrew Will is afraid of him like a puss when it come to any debate in a parliament. Can't play with him. We can draw back some video now. When Peter Phillips was leading the party and the JLP lead by Andrew Wallace is afraid for them. And them time the party they really have the members them. It's not like when them go shuffle now and lose all these seats and come back down to here. Because them go through it, And them just pick it up. So I big up Mark Wallen still. To bring it from where it is. To get back, win back half of where them have in there now. So that's a good move. And that's a good look. But you can't, it's like you're taking the foot off of the brake now when we need more to carry it out. It don't matter how them TV election. Because me don't say, well, then something gonna happen down the line. Somebody gonna butt them foot. And we're gonna have an earlier election where a lot of people think. Because history will repeat itself. And I want to say, but if the PNP don't really strike hard, it's not gonna happen. So this is something now. Hope this be a turning point, and this will come and get better and better with the leader himself. Come on with fire, with him blood a boil, and blood in him eye. That we want to see. No playing around again, man. No playing around, believe you me. Because music and politics are the same thing. If an artist come out now and it's quiet, and them not get them on, you have to tell you something, you have a contradictory and do some things where people see, and at that will go on, and at that, and politics are the same thing. Because singer is a leader, So he have to put himself on a levels where, special dancehall singers, not every singers, because music come with is a broad church. So the dancehall era there, from where I talk about dancehall, where we grew up in, people have to go out there like a really war. And that's why you have dancehall clash. That's why you have all these clash and people enjoy it. The person who have the biggest mouth and the more lyrics and can throw the most punch, and them come out on top. So politics are the same thing. And that's why Andrew Wallace a win. Because I have that and he use that. He use the clocks, he use this, he use everything. Mark Wallen really have to stand up and get up and know what going and take some advice and stop the behave like a choir boy businessman. Choir boy no work, in the politics, Choir boy no work in the politics. Anyway, we take the data and I say, because, me tell you something, brother. We kind of really vex in a certain way. But me I say, big up Ian Yales and Jess again. Them are the two most foreign people to come out on this. Yeah? And in between, people talk about, we want more fire in the wire from them. Yeah, man. Don't call it kind of distant rascal people, not them terms. It can't be. We're not fight for people. It can't work. So here goes.
Here as we know the people. Even in relation to the distribution of aid, to just have the JDF alone going into a community is not sufficient, because they won't know the lay of the land, they won't know the residents, and as such, that has left a lot of gaps. So I want to point out specifically some things now. Shelter. The shelters that are in the constituency, they have been inappropriate from the beginning, and they continue to be inappropriate. There isn't a bed or a cot or anything in any of the shelters. To be frank, there are persons that are not even aware that some of the shelters are still open with over 20 persons in each one of them. And that means if you're not aware, you couldn't possibly be making any provisions for the residents within those shelters. The persons who are in the shelters are obviously the most vulnerable. They don't have anywhere to stay. They don't have any relatives to stay with, and that's the reason why they're at the shelter. And I realize that the Ministry of Education has also taken on an initiative to reopen schools as soon as possible, which I support because we want to decrease the learning loss. But in moving the persons from these shelters, majority of which are schools, so that school can reopen, certainly we can't just move them without making.
You see, all them taught the right as I know. He might taught the right thing, But it's like, we don't want church. That talking is the right talk, but there's no boldness night. And that more have to see, More have to see some harder eating. Talk the same thing, but make your hand work. Make your hand work. That will send a big signal. But just sit there and just talk and I read from where you read from. But you talk the truth of the facts you talk, because them not doing nothing. But you have to put more boldness night, brother. Boldness mean a lot of things, When you use somebody, whether in a show business, music business, you have to be bold. When you're bold, you can't go wrong. But you can't call. And these are talking, when we say call, you're talking the right thing, but you not put the effort in it and the boldness in it. And the body language, when people can see you. So Andrew always do it. And all of them were that side there. Them blaze fire. Daryl Vaz, the whole of them. They come like them a war with people. And people love that. Special for them party. But upon a whole, the viewing audience, people look on politics all different type of way, I used to show me personally, that's my thing from a longer time, not just Jamaican politics, worldwide politics, and see all these leaders behave. Some can say them arrogant, yes, but arrogant always get people somewhere, If you check all the world leaders, them, and see them style. And that me look on. So, when we look on this one more zest in your speech, more boldness. Put it out there, make it be like the Dayton campaign, where we see in the election campaign, top of your voice. Remember, when I time in Chris what the name from Nationwide, Cliff Hughes. Remember, you come out and talk about you want a box for your mouth because your mouth too big. Remember? And I mean, say so, because that reached them, they never like it. They never like it. That get to them. Although Cliff Hughes, though in a politics, but he's a incubator for them. So when him hear that now, him not have nothing to say, and him should never say something like that out of him mouth. If you go talk about he's a broadcast and thing like that. But him do it because he's on the next side. He's in the pocket of the Prime Minister, not paying his fucking bill to spread false rumor. So when him come out and talk about you want a box for your mouth, and your mouth too big and loud, imagine that. Eh? Because, but you see, that a thing will burn them and hold them. So, and that we want to see continually. But when you know easier for the break, what's going to happen? Want to give in to them. Want to give in to them. Politics, these are politics, you know, brother. Want to make her a woman bolder than woman. Portia Simpson, that's why the woman they go down in history as somebody, as a first female prime minister. But really, what are them afraid for? And them not take the care, come in them idiot thing with her. She not gone on the blood climb or universal enough for her. Just common sense leader. So what not do? What not play, man? Play with. What not play with? Come out and talk with more about this more than that, man. Too quiet. Although you tell the truth.
In provision for them to stay elsewhere. In terms of emergency evacuation and shelter, housing of these persons, we have not seen any of those tents that are supposedly in the country that should be made available. I'm told that it was said in the Senate on Friday that tents went to Dayton Campbell, unless there is another Dayton Campbell that represents somewhere in Jamaica. It's certainly not this one. I have not been made aware of any tents. And I want to be on record as saying, I will never support moving out the persons out of the shelter unless we make provision for them. I will block it myself personally. That is inhumane, and we have to do better. So yes, we want the schools to open, but we must make adequate provision before we move the persons out of the shelters. We have, in looking at how we respond to the housing crisis, there are still persons that are under tarpaulin, still persons that are on a sheet of zinc. You will still see mothers and children just under a sheet of zinc.
All them things there now, you know, you come to all them things there, you know. People still on a tarpaulin. Shouldn't be a talk so soft on that. If I didn't side and do this on the other side, they're going to come out more bowler. Because you're supposed to have, and people still on the tarpaulin and all these wrestler thing and put it out there where you can reach them point there. Make it register. Make it sink in. But you know, punch out, brother. Them a little point there, you're supposed to raise your voice on that. And use your hand. And really, yeah. And that's some you see it, you know, that's how me know politics go. Too soft for me. Yeah, Johnny Osborne say, don't want no ice cream, love. Because too soft for him. Well, this we don't want no ice cream speech from a party who have the momentum. Yeah, man. So get up and be more bold than this. Believe you me. Yeah, man.
Zinc around a piece of tarpaulin. Right? There's still houses without tarpaulin that are yet to be covered. I have
all that you know without tarpaulin. Without tarpaulin. People without tarpaulin. They don't think they're supposed to resonate wicked and echo more arrogantly. Cut out the shit and the choir boy business there, man. I go in if rethink with him thing when I come boy. Because that if I that them go wait for unless they don't want to win election. I don't know what I'm deal with. I don't never gag Mark and tell them say well and that can't work, you know. I kill the Rastler PMP party. I go down to the bottom, you know, already. And it come back to this levels now. And I'm supposed to use this now as an opportunity to get some leeway, brother. People don't really go to go vote for talk like this. Because them not going to feel good. It's like when I preach these people, when I beg them, and I'm not begging thing. Them is the government. Them is the national government. They're supposed to realize them is supposed to do the things them and put the money out there. Because you up now. All this 10 million thing where no, not we not talk about you one is 3 million to clean up. Them say 3 million, You know what is 3 million? It's 15,000 English pound. That's $3 million. What the fuck 15,000 pound can do? You tell me now. Them have the money, but them just a stifle the PMP them and I use politics again. Because $3 million for a constituency in a time like now, what that can do? 15,000 pounds. Look how fucking things there. Or you can use what 15,000 pounds can do. You tell me now. I know 15 million US dollar, 15 million meager Jamaican dollar when I worth nothing. What that can do? So they might take the Jamaican people for idiot, they might take the opposition people MP them for idiot, and the leader as well. So if them not really come and talk so soft and now put some zest in it. Put some zest in an argument, brother. And wheel. Yo, more I see, I mean, I see nothing like that go on.
Of allocations to the constituency. $3 million for cleaning in the prep work before the hurricane came. And that is after we made advocacy for some allocation because initially we were
$3 million, 15,000 mega pound. That is equivalent of $3 million. Just look at that. As a quit that done, And them spend 17 million and a little sign. 17 million and a little sign, And that sign where they make up and well up and paint. Because me is a welder. That is my trade. That is something what me could do. Get some metal together. Draw it where you draw it. Weld it together. Sand it down. And put it on the side. Weld the sign them and screw them in. And paint and duke it. Spray it. In one color. That the Rascal sign don't cost more than, to be truthful, cost more than 3,000-4,000 pounds, Don't reach $1 million. And then fucking put a tag on it. They put a tag on it with 17 million. If it make a little Rascal, well up some metal together, screw on some sign, and paint it. Where you spray it or paint it are the same thing. $17 million. Imagine that. And now they want to give $3 million in a hurricane disaster where the place look like is a rascal nuclear war boom drop on them place there. And I'm going to give $3 million to no boy, sometimes me don't know.
told that Western Jamaica is not a priority and there was no allocation.
We need this thing, man.
Then there was an allocation of $1.5 million that was made twice, so that's another $3 million. That was to get care packages and tarpaulins. Now, if you get a care package and you put $5,000 worth of supplies in it, that would only get you 600 care packages for a constituency with over 40,000 persons. Then there's an allocation of $10 million for housing. And I've said it elsewhere.
$10 million.
Welcome to Montego Bay sign is $17 million. And we are given an allocation of $10 million in a constituency where 5,000 homes were totally destroyed. It is totally insufficient to meet the need that is there. And there is $3 million to RADA, which we have not been able to access as yet. That for a constituency where landfall was made, that has the majority of deaths, that has several persons still in shelters, several persons homeless, 5,000 houses destroyed. It's totally insufficient in terms of governmental response to the crisis that is there. We have been able, through Samaritan's person, I want to give Minister Tufton credit because despite our history of having confrontations in the parliament, he's the only minister of government that has informed me of his visit and involved me in his visit to the constituency. Others have said they're coming, but they have not actually made an attempt to ensure that we can actually um, connect whilst they are within the constituency.
I play
Their
politics,
Starlink seems to malfunction.
compromise, I
in
play
East and
politics in
Westmoreland.
a time like,
But
time
we've been
like
able
now.
to set up a field clinic in White House, and GEM Foundation has been able to re-roof the health center in Betheltown, White House, and in Darliston, and thus we're able to offer some medical care. There's still a significant gap, and MP Dawes is here that will speak to some of the health-related concerns, but there's still a significant gap where healthcare is concerned, and even just the disposal of human waste. It can't be that difficult for a country to put some portable toilets in a constituency that has been devastated. So at least we can discard of human waste in a safe and appropriate
They want
way.
to save, they want
The
to save
distribution
Rosla
system
money for
that is
thief
there
it.
is also dysfunctional. We cannot have persons just driving into a constituency and just going randomly into areas without no form of logistics workout. There needs to be a contact point in each division. We are not trying to commandeer what people are bringing. I'm not saying to persons you can't take things to your community or to your family. I'm simply saying that we should know so we don't have duplication of the efforts. And what is happening currently is that people are on the main and they receive several times over. Then we have sick, indigent, disabled, those in the more remote parts of the constituency that are not benefiting. You would have seen the exchange in Parliament about the number of care packages distributed. You can't go to a community one time in 20 days when this food package is slated to last for just 3 to 4 days. What is expected of those persons for the additional time? Right? So there needs to be a proper structure that is placed that ensures that relief item can go to those areas. We've proposed the Adopt a Family initiative to give accommodation to some persons using containerized housing. And I want to thank the persons who have contributed to that thus far. And we've been able to deliver 6 units, and we have another 6 that are ordered and ready to be distributed. This is intended to be a temporary solution.
Of
The
course.
simplest thing in the short term. It is not a proposal for us to have a constituency with pure containerized houses across the of the constituency.
All them things are fuckery, you know. Them things are the fuckery because you up now. Andrew always come with them rascal thing. This is because remember, you know. Tell you something. Container don't make two people live in it. Container is something where we make we store things. Right? That is something that Jamaica, where Jamaica is a hot country. How much people who not going to make them AC? How much poor people can afford them things there? When you couldn't have an ordinary house. I don't know, you know, container house, Jamaica people supposed to reject all them things there, you know. Because look on the house them where Andrew Wallace build a Montego Bay with the China them. Look how out to show him up now. The actually further wall them is like a cardboard. The brother tear it out and I break it up like that. And at that, and the house them look good. And now Hurricane Melissa come really expose them. So now we come with container house. Some heavy rascal container we build, not for, because remember, you know, people are supposed to live in them things there. Because, you know, make the people live, you know. And I follow other people are foreign. And the people who are foreign are different type of thing. And sometimes are different, because you have different type of container as well. But what Andrew Wallace will do, will go and buy the idiot little cheap container them, just like the bus them, and come rascal, itch them up and paint them up and make it look like a house when them now live in a container house. Them family now live in a container house. So what good for the goose, supposed to good for the gander. I'm going to say Christoph Town, or Christoph Town, me call him. That foreign. Same I look about him knee. So him is a health minister. So the hospital doing good for him out here. He have gone abroad. You saw hypocritical these people is. Look much hospital at Jamaica. But no, him no, them have the money. All of these money with them thief from the taxpayers, them can ride on them back and get the best treatment. All them things is a red card, you know. What good for the goose, supposed to good for the gander. Your people are going to the same hospital. Remember, you know, in England, you know, anybody can go to any hospital. Sometimes some big stars, a government minister, in the local, in a hospital where they run the corner. Them not going to a special hospital. Unless something happen really and they want some private treatment. That's something different completely. So this is what I'm trying to say. You know, all them people are really look upon Jamaican people as some big idiot. What good for the MP, them, not good for the little local people, them. Some of them go to hospital and them can't afford a simple X-ray. It'll cost them 40,000. When the hospital itself shouldn't provide that. But there's none of those type of equipment in the hospital. So the same as health service, the same health minister who is responsible for the hospital then, him have some problem with him knee, know him that foreign. Some can't go in the hospital with him. Jesus Christ, boy. You understand say them things and people look on them things and say, well then them things are wrong. And them think they're madness. Eh? Yo, let me tell you, brother.
We want the situation in Westmoreland in terms of land tenure to be regularized. We put a proposal on the table to move the time period to own government land, to move it from 6 years to 25 years. That's something that the government should immediately take on, right? To ensure that we can give the lands to these persons and that they can, some of them can build their own structures that can withstand hurricane, and the government...
Well, I don't know why it have to be from 6 to 25 years. Why is 25 years people get a title? The land is here for the Jamaican people. Why not make it easy to say in 5 years at least? All them things they're still, PMB shouldn't really move the thing more affordable to poor people, It's like a look good. Y'all them thing there, yeah, it's supposed to be 5 years. Poor people are supposed to have no problem to get a title. But them things don't happen. So PMP should be more generous on them things still, to be truthful. But at least I make a proposal, move from 60 to 25. To me, that not go far enough. That not go far enough at all.
As well should look at low income solutions on government lands for these persons. The aim is not to have board houses being rebuilt, because that's an invitation for a second disaster. This was with us a few days ago, and he stated that the videos and the pictures don't do justice, and that it is total devastation, and it's going to take a long time to rebuild the infrastructure. He said they will have to be creative, and he has proposed that we need to get a generator in Darliston and one in White House so that we can at least power the police station, the health centers, and those things. A lot of persons are not cognizant of what is going on out in the western end of the country. Eastern Westmoreland is not what it used to be. The lives of the residents has been severely affected, and it will take a long time for them to return to normalcy. I know people are in a haste to move on, but in your haste to move on, do not forget that you have brothers and sisters that are on the fringes of survival. They are suffering and they need assistance urgently. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell. We're here now from the Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland, MP Dwayne Vaz.
Good morning, everyone. I want to say a special good morning to my constituents of Central Westmoreland. I'm going to begin by speaking really on housing. And as Dr. Campbell mentioned, each member of parliament was given an allocation of $10 million. What I want to break down to residents is the minimum we're supposed to give each person is 100,000, and that really means that we can only assist a maximum of 100 people in the constituency. And our constituency is the largest when it comes down to registered voters. It's over 52,000, which actually means we should have over 80,000 people living in the constituency. So we know it's a huge constituency, and assisting 100 people from the government grant is simply inadequate, as you will recognize. The reason we got so much damage in Hurricane Melissa with regards to our housing stock is the same land tenure issue. So because most people don't own the land, they tend to build temporary structures that can be moved if necessary. So most persons are afraid of building permanent structures because if the owner comes for the land, then they will have to leave. A lot of this land is government land, as was said by Dr. Campbell just now, and the government has to use this opportunity to create an environment where people can actually own that piece of land where they can build permanent structures. We think about 10,000 persons or more were affected by Hurricane Melissa. And when I say affected, I mean total destruction plus damage to roofs, major damage I'm talking about. And as I said, this is because of the type of housing that we have in our constituency. And this is something we have to fix in the short and medium term as we move forward. The immediate needs of the constituency as we speak, we have been getting a lot of assistance with regards to food, water, tarpaulins and stuff like that. But the need has really shifted to housing material, because every community we visit now to hand out food packages, people are asking the same question. When will the housing material grants start? When will people start seeing people getting material to fix their structures? So the need that we have now, which I think is the most immediate and short-term need now, is actually to get the materials in so persons can start rebuilding. Some persons have started on their own, family, friends, assisting, communities helping each other, but a lot of people are still there looking at each other, not knowing which angle to turn, not knowing where to do, because they really can't afford to start. And these are the people we have to look for. And I know the assessment is going on now, but there are thousands of residents who are just there wondering where the help will come from. And as I said, the government must step in here, because it will take the efforts of the government in a significant way for us to get people back on track to the lives they were living before Hurricane Melissa. We also have a road crisis, and I must add the bridge crisis to it. There's a particular bridge in the Frome area where the road was cut away, and that has compromised the bridge. It's a main road going from Savlamar to Granger, and we have to look into that immediately. Most of the roads were bad before Hurricane Melissa, but they have gotten worse. And it is causing a lot of traffic pileup in some areas because the road is so bad. So we actually need the representatives from the government also to ensure that things are put in place so we can start some immediate works on these particular areas that we have so many issues. We speak also of the shelters that we have now. We still have a few shelters open, and the issue, as was stated by Dr. Campbell, is that leaving the shelters, they really have nowhere to go. So the government needs to put something in place where people know leave the shelters. They might have to set up temporary structures for them, in the meantime. But something must be done, because people cannot leave the shelters without knowing where they're going. They would not be there if they had somewhere else to go. So this is a serious issue that we're facing as we speak. The distribution that we're seeing so far, and I spoke of it in Parliament a couple of weeks ago when helicopter went down in Landale and the members of the government in the era were called on to come because they were on spot before everybody else. I spoke of it, the Prime Minister dismissed what I said, but what I said was repeated twice since he spoke. And the most recent occurrence was this week when at an activist, a known JLP activist premises, that was where the distribution was done. And we have to look at how we are doing these things. I don't know who came up with that idea, who thought this would look like a good idea to have the food packages being distributed from that location, but it was obviously a terrible idea. And we're saying that if you're going to be distributing any package at all, there is a representative in the constituency that you should contact and should assist with the coordination of these things. Whenever we are going out to do distribution, everybody we see in the communities, we give packages. We're not looking at who is PNP or JLP or no P. We're in a crisis situation and the government needs to act in that way. I get the feeling that the government still doesn't realize that we are in a crisis. But the crisis we're in, we need to understand that people are people. We're Jamaicans and we must treat people as Jamaicans. The gaps, before I close, between what is needed and what we have gotten. I stated earlier that we have mostly gotten packages with food, water, stuff like that, from most of the private donors. The only assistance we have gotten from the government was the $3 million that was mentioned by Dr. Campbell earlier. Every other assistance with regards to food, packages, and water
Imagine that.
have come from private donors.
Imagine
we have
that,
to
you know.
thank all of these persons who have been coming out.
That was
There have been
disgrace.
major organizations, like for example, GEM that was mentioned earlier.
No, sir.
But there have been numerous private individuals who have come into the parish. Some of them are from the parish, some are not, but they have lent a helping hand. And the residents of the constituency
Why,
have
oh
been
boy,
truly
no, sir.
appreciative of what has been done so far. So just in closing, I just want to say Central Westmoreland needs the assistance. I know Dr. Campbell said he was the worst hit, but I would beg to differ because Central was equally hit, I think. And if you look at the stretch coming down from White House, after leaving Eastern Westmoreland and Bluefields, the entire stretch coming to Ferris looks the same way. If you turn going to Montego Bay, the entire waterworks stretch looks the same way as White House and Belmont. So it was total devastation in the constituency. And as I said, it's the largest constituency when it comes down to the amount of people, which means that we need special attention. And we're asking everybody who is listening to this press conference that we need as much attention as we can possibly get. But so I'm going to say to the residents of the constituency, to hold firm. We will do whatever we can to assist the process. And you can rest assured that your member of parliament will do anything possible to get back on track to where it was before Hurricane Melissa. I thank you.
Speech still soft, you know.
Response from the government. MP Ian Hales.
Thank you, Leader of the Opposition, fellow colleague, members of Parliament. Good morning. I want to first start off by thanking the charitable organizations that have come on board and have played a role in this hurricane. They have done more than the government. And I'm ashamed to say that I represent a constituency in Westmoreland that we're a part of the government, we're a part of the country. And at the same time, private sector, private individuals, charitable organizations have done more than the government of the land. 1 month, it's almost a month, I think today is a month that we went through the hurricane. 4 weeks from now, it is Christmas. I have over 1,000 homes that have been lost, gone, and probably around 5,000 to 6,000 other citizens that the Hurricane Melissa have
Disrupt.
affected. And I ask myself the question every day as a member of parliament, and I know my colleagues do also, when we get up in the morning. How you going to help all of these 6 to 7, 10,000 Jamaicans that have been affected? And in terms of the assessment that is going on, I called last week, I spoke to an individual, I spoke to the manager, and I asked a question. I said, are there any assessment that is taking place in Western Westmoreland?
Here it is.
And the answer is yes, they went to 2 areas. And I said, tell me the 2 areas that you're going to. And he listed the 2 areas. And those 2 areas were not the 2 areas that were basically the areas that were damaged beyond recognition.
Politics playing again.
And I see where the assessment now that is taking place is taking place in communities that basically supported the Jamaica Labour Party. All I'm saying is we can't do things so ad hoc.
Politics
we are
now.
all in this together.
Politics, they don't give a fuck about the fucking people.
As a country. And, you know,
I never know, me know so well and that would go on, you know, but me never know so really go on so brawling. Them going to the place to show them know the stronghold labor right, them vote for them. And don't give a fuck up. So them say, well then, you know them slogan, choose Jamaica. You see them people are wicked, them do anything, spend a lot of money for advertisement, but sound good, just to trick the Jamaican people in. Choose Jamaica and rate and lele. Then the people them choose Jamaica alone the TIEF election. And that's how I angry people them. Because remember, you know, you get over 400,000 vote Mark Hole and get over 400,000 same speed. So, and that's why I say, well, then, you know, when I feel just burn the fire more, harder. I remember, you know, we're all resilient people, so we have to show no resilient right as now too. We're not sure that. The GLP do it. But you know, you have to big up Ian Hills as well, right as so. Because him burn a fire so, and you can see well then he might not really enough for me, but he's still more aggressive more than the Mark Golding one. And that's the truth. Yeah, man.
I want to get back to the assessment, though, because the assessment leaves a lot of questions. It is said that you have that are volunteering to do the assessment across the constituencies that are there. I've asked the question, who are these volunteers? What are the criteria / requirement for each volunteer? So that even if we can put some individuals, civil society, church, and individuals, put them forward so that they can help in terms of speeding up the assessment. Look, I just think if we don't put back some of these Jamaicans, even give them a roof over their head between now and Christmas, we're going to face some headwinds in this country that we have never faced before. And why do I say that? To every home you go to in the country, people, there's a level of frustration that I've never seen before. People have lost everything. And there's the frustration is, when are we going to get some help? You can't look at me as a member of parliament and say, you know what, pick 100 of your citizens. And when you pick the 100
out of order.
What about the rest? That going to turn against me as member of parliament. What about those individuals?
Well, that they want to happen in it.
How do you go ahead and pick the 100 to give 100?
No, that's exactly what they want to do. That's what I'm saying. From the beginning, they might play politics in a disaster like this. Imagine that. Because they want them people them turn upon the MP when I know him at the government to allocate the money. And somebody fool them too. They don't realize that. They will go and blame the MP when they vote for. So if you don't get the money from the central government, how am I going to do the job? And enough of them voters there, you know, them not really educated enough to know, say, it's nothing to do with Ian Hills. He's just an MP. But he's the opposition MP. So him have to wait till him get the money. So then I know say the government them supposed to go at. I want them learn anyway. Because people will learn little by little, no matter how them a tick, really. You know what I mean? They will learn. I know say, no, but hold on there. I know them in the government. You say if the opposition party in the government, then them will fix them things evenly. Because PMP party now go play no dirty game like we Labour right do, you know. People don't get trust me. Because we are different party completely. But these people are playing politics right before everybody's eyes. The world as well. And they don't give a fuck. Because they want to get them away. They want to turn the people against them now. And say, oh yeah, well then, you know. So it's party upon party. When people supposed to unite in a disaster like this. Just like everybody unite and I help the people them. All the artists them come out and I give people things. They don't care about labor right, and then I ask for labor right. They not distribute straightforward. Everybody I get. But now the government come and they want to divide and make all kind of rules. Like it's a Nancy country. Like it's a dictator country anyway. From a good while now. But it move slow, you know. It don't really reach the fully affected way yet. So that I go on from where I go on. And them have the money. Everybody can get things evenly. But now they want to divide the country in a psychological way. In a diplomatic way. Can I use everything, you know? Yo, let me tell you something. These people, they call themselves labor right. And the whole of them think the same way. You know, usually you have party, you know, when party are, and when people are on the same side with the party leader, when in power, I do things wrong. And them same MP them call him out. There's much time sit up in England from both sides. In America the same thing. But Jamaica, no matter how the Labour right, Prime Minister Andrew Wallace are do wrong, nobody now call him out and do like a whisper, step down. Some people step down and go be a backbencher when things now go right. But not the fucking JLP party them. Them wolf for the yesterday. So pure wolf for them, you know. Pure God Almighty wolf. Greedy wolf too. Yeah. Greedy fuck.
100,000. For me, I'm doing mine a little different. I'm giving each church one individual within that community that has been severely affected. I don't look at this thing as political PNP, JLP. So the church is going to get involved along with myself in terms of ensuring that we can pick 100 of our citizens. But picking 100 from 9 or 8,000 that have been affected, it's very difficult. You know, in terms of distribution, I've gone through the last couple of weeks disappointed as a Jamaican and as a representative of the people. You see ministers of government come in. You see ministers of government come in, you see government entity comes in. And they go to a particular area that you don't have damage in some of those areas that they got to give out, to distribute food to our citizens. All I'm saying is, look, we have to do better as a country. We have to do better as a government. It can't continue. It can't continue the way it has been going. People in their, in my constituency, I don't know, since the hurricane, we've been getting a lot of rain. And most of our citizens are without a roof, without tarpaulin, just basically fending on their own. Can't help themselves, can't do nothing. The packages that are going around, being distributed. People have gone out, they get one food package, I would say probably around 3-4 weeks ago, and they haven't gotten any more help from the government. So there's no assessment. Food package is only 600 per MP. Thank God for the charitable organization. But look, I just want to appeal to the government. I just want to appeal to the government. Come on board with the elected officials. The elections are over. The elections are over. And this crisis allow you to think as a human and not as wear a hat as a political representative. It is that hard. There's a level of hardship that is in Western Jamaica. And I just want to say, look, make we ensure that over the next 4 weeks, we can ensure that we put as much Jamaicans back in their home with their roofs. We have to do that as a country. It can't continue so. Make we ensure we help some of these individuals, whether PNP or JLP, make we get together, government and opposition, working together in ensuring that we can serve the people of Western Westmoreland and the areas that have been damaged. Make we just stop all this foolishness now. You can't come in my constituency. And when you come in the constituencies, when you leave, you're going to tell me. Or when you reach, you're going to tell me. And then you're going to say, you know what? I'll leave 25 bags of food around the corner for you. You can't continue, sir. And then you go and look for me now. And when I ask you the question, when I ask you the 2 areas that you assess, how you assess those 2 areas, what are the criteria, what are the strategy? And then you...
So I'm going to try to show people. You see how Ian Yells are move him on and really a punch. That's what I want to see from Mark Golding. So you see the difference between him and Mark Golding talking. So him and Jess come out strong on a team here. And I saw want to see the PNP party really blazing, you know? Yeah, man. Because you talk and you really, because you see your hand movement and you're talking, them things, it's just like you're the artist, you know? And you're performing, you know? Your foot movement, your hand movement, and the craft of that. Right? And that's where Andrew Holness is good at. Yeah, man, that's where Andrew Holness is good at. Because I'm look on world politics, you know. And world leader, slick leader, where like even the Obama and them people there. Him study everything. You can't too lay back, brother. Can't too lay back. You have to fire punch.
You turn to me and then you said to me, you know what? We have 2 staff members who live in those areas. Where is the strategy? How are we going to deal with all? I don't even think the government know what's going on. It's clear that the government didn't plan for this. They didn't plan for it. And I want every PNP and every JLP, every like-minded Jamaican, where you get in your car every week and you drive down, come a country.
I say you have to talk.
Sit down and ask yourself the question.
And you're on signal and this thing.
I mean, I'm thankful that they said to me I can clean some of my roads, but some of the roads across the other 2 constituencies are not cleared as yet. And how can you say to a foreigner to do more than you as the government here, where the people elect and vote for and put in? And pay taxes. And me have to come here now at a press conference and I beg the government to come on board to play a role with us. The caretaker is not the MP. Nobody elected the caretaker. He's a private citizen. Nobody elect him or her.
Man, I come out with fire.
The election is still going on. Enough is enough, man. It's time this foolishness cut out.
Yeah.
This are the comedy.
Thank you, MP Hales. We're going to shift the statements to Hanover, and it would appear as if Hanover is left out of the conversation about recovery. It appears as if persons don't know that Hanover was also badly affected, and we're going to hear from the members of Parliament. We're going to start with Western Westmoreland. Yes, Western Hanover. We're going to start with MP Heather Miller Bennett.
New MP.
Good morning, Leader of Opposition, media, colleagues. Good morning again. I stand before you this morning not just to tell you about what Hurricane Melissa did, but to tell you how it has affected the lives and livelihood of the people of Western Hanover. It is clear that the government forgot about Hanover. It is clear that their efforts to help Western Hanover has been limited or non-existent. We have over 8,000 families that were affected. And to date, as you've heard, we've gotten $1.5 million prior to hurricane and another 1.5 to assist the residents of Western Hanover. What can that do? That's a drop in the bucket. If it weren't for donors, dog nyam supper in Western Hanover. As an elected representative, it hurts
But
when
take
you
revenge.
have a limited number of packages.
How low
and
these
you have to
labor
decide
rights,
which
low-minded,
community you go to
low-minded
next
people them is.
when you have so many communities that are affected. I'm particularly concerned about the assessment process that is being done by the Ministry of Labor. What we're finding happening is that the Ministry of Labor is unable to tell us how many homes they have assessed. They're unable to tell us how many communities they've gone in. What you're finding is that they don't know. They're able to say that Hanover has 4,388 persons that they have assessed. But in my constituency alone, I can tell you we have far exceeded that number. So this hodgepodge, patchy way of doing the assessment is unacceptable. This slow pace way of going about the assessment is not benefiting our residents. So while they take their time in assessing, people are suffering. People are in need. Persons are outside, they're living in their cars. They're living on the streets. They're catching with family members. They're catching with friends. They don't know where else to go. And so this hodgepodge way of assessing, it's not the way to go. And so I'm urging the government to engage agencies that know about data collection, like Statin, who they already have the resources, SDC, to assist them in going out to do these assessments. I am particularly concerned as well about our schools. Many of our schools were used as shelters, many still not repaired. We have started back school, and yes, we need children to be in schools, and we need them back in schools urgently. But putting them in unsafe environment is not acceptable. Students are back in schools, but we don't see the school bus system back up. And so they're in regular clothing, and so they're being charged adult fares. What is being done? Parents are already without a job and cannot maintain paying adult fares. So what about that school bus system? Why is it that the school bus system is not yet in place despite students are back in school? Many of our students are on path. The schools are without electricity. They're without connectivity. The schools are unable to provide food for these students on path because they can't do storage. What is being done? I urge the government to put in place some kind of food feeding program. What about generators for the school? What about the several generators that I heard were donated? Can't the schools in Western Hanover be given generators to assist them with their refrigerators for storage so that they can provide for their students? While we are giving out these care packages, there's concern about where am I going to live? So yes, you feed me for a week or two. Where are we going to live? No roof, no house. We have gotten an allocation for housing. As my colleague MP stated, who do you decide? How do you decide? I see caretakers coming in. I want to go back to the packages. I see caretakers giving out packages. I see JLP operatives in the constituency giving out packages. I see state ministers coming in, giving out packages. What is lacking is communication and coordination. I urge the government to set up some kind of centralized hub that disseminate information on a regular basis, either through a WhatsApp channel, through regular press briefing. Let us know what exactly is being distributed and to who. As an elected representative, I'm on the ground. I have counselors. They know the space. They know who are the persons being damaged. Utilize them. Utilize us. Utilize the community leaders. We see NGOs, we see JDF, we see caretakers, we see state ministers. We see them coming with packages. We know the space. Talk to us. So we need a communication. We need a coordinated way and not a hodgepodge, patchy way of distribution. These are lives and livelihoods we're playing with. These are families. Many persons may be not directly affected by Hurricane Melissa, but they are affected because they're without jobs. The tourism industry has been basically non-existent. They are without jobs. So I urge the government to put something in place. Put some kind of relief support. Put some kind of allocation, wage allocation for a short-term period. I urge the government to look into how do we support families, the fisher folks that have lost their livelihood. How do we support them? How about microloans, offering them low interest microloans with some kind of grace period? How do we support them? How do we support our farmers in the short term? What are we doing? They have lost their farms. Western Hanover have quite a few farmers up in the Askinish area, Pell River area, Kendall. They've lost, as far as I know, the assessment has been slow. And so once again, I urge the government to ensure that we measure what we're doing. Because if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And so I say to the people of Western Hanover, hold strain. I will continue to advocate for you to ensure that the resources get to you. Ministry of Labor asking you to step up, partner with agencies who know what to do. Ask the government and other state ministers coming into the space, communicate and coordinate. Because if we're not doing this together, we're wasting resources.
More than wasting.
Persons out there, my donors, I want to thank
more
you
than
and ask
wasting.
others to come on board. We are at the phase now where people need homes. They need their roof back on. We have started an initiative, Help Me Fix My Roof. Because despite we know that the structures that we have are not necessarily the ideal, but the people need somewhere where they can live. They need a roof over their heads. And so I ask donors to come on board. The government not doing enough. And they seem like they don't business about Hanover. They have a responsibility to the people of Western Hanover.
Is that business or not business about Hanover?
To step up and do what they're.
But they just talk it raw. And this is where, if for the Labour Party, they might talk it raw, you know. It's not a matter if they do business about Hanover. Supposed to talk it as you're supposed to talk it, lady. They are playing politics because Hanover, in your constituency, vote PMP. That's what you're supposed to say. What you afraid to say that? If it was a GLP, they must say that. I'm pointing finger to. So they are playing politics. And they are playing politics because this, oh God, and talk all kind of rascal thing. That's why I should still, when I need some advice, I need more clout, more brother. Ladies and gentlemen, believe you me. And I don't want to follow the leader because I'm a choir boy tone, which is not going to work. But when I need to have some zest, brother. Please, adapt me one. Once I start to do that, Then when you see them start to do the right thing, then when you see things are going to go better for Uno. But if you don't keep on just moving like that, so quiet, so humble, so lay back, when the other side are try iron, I wanna do eat butter. Come on, man.
You're supposed to do while I implore and ask donors to come on board and help me help the people of Western Hanover to fix their roof. This is not politics. This is humanitarian. People are hurting, their lives and livelihoods have been damaged and lost. I thank you.
Thank you, MP Miller Bennett. We're going to hear from the other member of parliament in Hanover. She has been advocating relentlessly for her people. I welcome Member of Parliament Andrea Perkis.
Good morning, everyone. Party President Mark Golding, my colleagues, to the viewers. For the people of Eastern Hanover, the date October 28th marked the beginning of a crisis that continues weeks later. Let me be clear about what Hurricane Melissa did to Eastern Hanoverians, because the scale of devastation has been systematically underreported and in many cases completely ignored by the media coverage. Every single board house in Eastern Hanover has been affected, damaged, destroyed. Approximately not 2,000, 5,000 houses are without roofs. Every farm in the constituency suffered severe damage. Half of our health centers sustained significant structural damage. Our schools are so badly affected. This morning, I got a call from the principal of Brownsville Primary, and she asked me who is responsible for the persons in the shelters. Her name is Miss Bucknell. She has started school last week because parents are not able to help the children at home and prepare them for exams that are coming in a few months. And so she rushed to open Brownsville Primary, and I understand. But she's crying out for help because she cannot be the person that is responsible for the persons that are now staying in the shelter. So I'm asking government to pay attention to the schools. All of our schools have been affected. Most of the schools in Eastern Hanover, they have no roof. Residents in Chigwell, Forest, Woodsville, and other areas were trapped for weeks. There is a man-made bridge in Woodsville from 2022. That bridge was partially collapsed. It was in 2023, it went down for good. The residents are in dire need of attention from government. That man-made bridge was destroyed again. And so the residents of the Woodsville area, they're asking for urgent attention. Water supplies were contaminated. I myself was marooned in Cascade. Residents, though, came out and assisted us. And that is a pattern that I've noticed since Hurricane Melissa, that residents have taken it upon themselves to do the work of government because the parish of Hanover has not been included in many things. especially where relief is concerned. The morning after the hurricane, residents assisted me in cleaning 18 miles of roadways so I could get to the main road to coordinate relief efforts. I want to address the government's response or lack thereof. It is true that affected constituency received $10 million. Many of my colleagues have done the math. For housing, it is not adequate. We have a number of houses in Hanover. From my balcony, I am looking at 3 houses that are flat and 5 without roof. The people of Eastern Hanover, they've had to seek comfort living under tarps. That's not good enough. We need help from government. We need ministers to come in and be on the ground as they were before the election. The people of Eastern Hanover, they're demanding your presence. The question I must ask, and the question every Jamaican should be asking, if the allocation on paper is equal, why is help actually reaching our residents so dramatically unequal? Where is the relief going? Why are communities still waiting? Government response has been extremely slow in Eastern Hanover. Corporate Jamaica, though, has stepped up. Companies like Flow, Red Stripe, CM Recycling Company Limited, Trial Hotel, and Billboard King Foundation have provided more immediate, tangible relief than government agencies. Our diaspora family responded with urgency and generosity. And I must thank PNP leadership, former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson, a proud Hanoverian, along with President Mark Golding and MPs Anthony Hilton and Julian Robinson, who have been mobilizing assistance, and some of them have been on the ground providing moral support to our traumatized communities. Eastern Hanover is facing a public health crisis that needs immediate intervention. Western Jamaica has already confirmed 11 cases of leptospirosis since Hurricane Melissa. And that's a deadly waterborne disease. I spoke of waterborne diseases 2 weeks ago in Parliament, still no attention. And on behalf of the citizens of Eastern Hanover, I want to ask the question, what is the purpose of elected representatives going to Parliament and voicing the concerns of the citizens without any notes being taken or any attention being paid to these citizens? There is literally now a mountain of garbage. At my personal gate, I live in my constituency. The National Solid Waste Management Authority has failed to maintain consistent collection, and our residents are suffering the consequences. We're deeply concerned about leptospirosis, dengue fever, and other waterborne diseases threatening our people in areas still cut off from proper medical attention. Whether the design is by oversight or the Ministry of Health has omitted the parish of Hanover from its island-wide fogging schedule, I don't know. But believe it or not, Hanover as a parish, we have areas where the water continues to rise. The water has a stench. And up to date, I have not been contacted by anyone from the Ministry of Health to say we are going into these areas to check, to run some tests, to check on the citizens. We have a number of senior citizens in Chigwell, in Forest. These senior citizens have had to travel by means of foot track to get to hospitals, to the 3 out of 10 clinics that we have operating now. Some communities remain isolated. Residents still lack access to potable water. Families are living under tarpaulins or in homes with no roofs.
And government is so slow.
Children are trying to attend school.
Not moving.
I am here today to make our needs absolutely clear. For the most part, Hanover is still technologically marooned. A lot of persons are still not able to get connection. Those Starlinks and generators were given to the government. We did not even receive a single generator to power our constituency office to serve the people that elected us and the entire constituency. We need the Ministry of Health and the local health department to deploy mobile medical units to isolated communities. We also need aggressive vector control measures. We need consistent garbage collection immediately before we face, as I spoke about before, a full-scale disease outbreak. 7 of 10 of the health centers need to be repaired with immediate effect. Our roads need more clearing. Our water systems need restoration. Our schools need immediate structural assessment and repairs so they can serve the essential functions. Our farmers need seeds, and I know there has been an allocation through RADA, but we're asking for more. To the people of Eastern Hanover, I see you. I have walked through your communities. I have witnessed your suffering and your remarkable resilience. You elected me to fight for you, and I will not stop fighting until you receive the help you deserve and the dignity you are owed as a citizen of Jamaica. I want to share stories, and these are not just stories, but things that I've seen with my own eyes. I witnessed the previous Member of Parliament, Dave Brown, driving through my community with the same care packages that the government gave me. Only 250 care packages, 5 tarps, and 50 cases of water. To date, that is all that I have received. Now, when a previous Member of Parliament drives through communities like Paddington, Cocoon, Claremont, Retrieve, Cascade, Hunside, it cannot be 250 care packages that he received.
But you know, that's what I say. I don't know why boy I tell you so sometime, you know. You see me? Boy, I don't know the kind of how me see things, you know. I look over from me a call out this government, well, we never say the government, me talk about, well, the government at least, but the leader, Andrew Wallace, he might move on a dictatorship, road him a go down in the lane, that lane them in, you know. And from 2022, me I said that, you know. And now at 2025, so over 3 years. And you can see clearly, as a Jimmy Cliff said, you can see clearly that's how the place gone now. Because this what go on is dictatorship. So just imagine if they make him really get the full angle of it. Because they want to do something, you know. They want to clear up themselves from the corruption with the IC and them things there. They want to do a lot of things. And they want to sabotage because they might try something. But when every PMP, they might look on them things there, you know. Because you see in the Philippines, are the same thing, you know. You see China one dictatorship country, one ruler. Lot of poor people in China all about. And then China spend so much billion and build up all over China. You have people that make so much money in China. And you have some people so damn poor. Russia the same thing. But if you look on Philippines, we used to be a dictator country from way back down in the 80s. And then Marcos have a runway. And the destruction where him leave all now in a 2025. It's some slum. But this is some slum where people are living in now. Because Filipino are a rich country, you know. If some little hut where people are living in some slum, there's some dirty water and all them things there. And from 80, that dictatorship, nothing can come good yet. How much years now, you know? Much. But I mean, I tell you, you know. It can't come good. It just stay worse and worse and worse. Little pitney. I walk in a little breathe. Because them can't afford nothing for wear. And I let a mosquito down there too, you know. And I look on them things, I say, look on that thing. If you don't mind sharp, you know. At that Jamaica will be, you know. Now, you know. Because if the government not moving in a crisis like this, it's like they want something to happen and they want to them get the opportunity to know what they want to really, because them can push them dictatorship more and at that them do and get what they want. Get the NIDS in and all these things. And that's why I have ball out on the MP, them in the PMP if you really ball out more aggressive. Yeah, man, because that me say if they don't do that, we are going on one slippery road, brother. Because if them cannot do that, you lose election and you're still active and I deliver food, all them things, and I like you mock the woman who win the people and vote. Like you mock her and I tell lie. So, oh, you so active and you're not an MP. You're not even an opposition or a hustler, you know, because you get voted out, brother. So why is there, why you, for me, Jamaica, one way, I can't understand, you know. We usually, when an MP lose them seat, them go quiet, go look at next job. In England, we are talking about, in one democratic country, right? MP lose them seat, then find a different career. They're not mingling in politics again. Them lift up. So it happens in all the constituency where the Labour Party them lose. George Wright do the same fucking thing. That little woman beater. Tunnel, we call it tunnel nose. Like yeah, but that brother, you see, you look on him, look like him, you can drive a train through him nose. Him lose. And he shouldn't come back in a politics about him a run. But God work. Some get shagged. Right? Like him a one person who never want to accept I would more win. But him get fucked and him still now. For him take himself. That's all him doing, leech from politics. We get easy money. We don't go blood clot, mix some cement. For the construction work. I use the money and go do some fucking business, brother. And back out of this shit. And you lose the election. But you still active in the constituency. Only in Jamaica. Only in the Labour Party. Blood fire, man. Oh, no. Me no know. I don't fucking know. Yo, it a get from bad to worse, people. It a get from fucking bad to worse.
I am asking the government. Government had an opportunity to be great, to look good. After the hurricane,
They don't want to look good.
I reached out to
They don't want to look good at all.
I left messages for them, and I assured them that whatever relief I receive as Member of Parliament will be shared with them. I did not receive much, unfortunately. Where the assessment
Sabotage, man.
is concerned, I sent out a schedule 2 days ago on a community group. It is a very touchy topic, but the government is playing politics.
Okay.
When the Ministry of Labor and Social Security goes to Axandas 2 days, Axandas is a tiny community in Chester Castle Division, and areas like Horton Grove that are 5 times the size of Axandas still no visits.
I play politics on it.
There is no politics involved. I want to thank the public sector, the private sector. I want to thank the families from Hanover that are living overseas, the diaspora, for stepping up and helping us. Red Stripe, you came in and you were so amazing. Over 500 care packages. Flo, you came in twice, not once, but 2 times into Chester Castle. Chester Castle is my ground zero in Eastern Hanover. I want to make an appeal to government that the people of Eastern Hanover, they're watching you. The people of Jamaica, they're watching you. The people internationally, people are looking at what you're doing. I am yet to go into some of my strong areas, but I've gone into Pumpkin Bottom, where 80% of the residents voted against me. My mission is one of humanitarian. I cannot be doing politics in such a catastrophic time. And I am asking the government to cut out the PR and get to the people. I have nothing against the Jamaica Defense Force, but I can tell you that I am against the government giving them the care packages to get to our people. I've witnessed myself in Sandy Bay and Hopewell on the main road, 2 trucks dropping off care packages. Our seniors in the lanes are not benefiting. The residents up in Mount Pelion are not benefiting. The residents inland are not.
So what more clearer than that people want to see that is a dictator country. Jamaica sliding, Eh? They're far from be fully dictatorship. Because once I use the arm, if you do certain things like that, Once I use the arm, if you do things like that. Because it's supposed to be agents. Arm is supposed to be there to protect and build back things and do all them things there. And if you're gonna use the army to help transport food, they're supposed to do it in a manner where it supervise. And them not like them a do it and cause them a part of the government. So this is a dictatorship. Anybody can say that. I don't know what them can say. Because the army was well involved, I remember Andrew when they have rocking me in my office, him draw back in this brother to come manage the pimp with one name. Disaster management, but him don't know nothing about that. So Army man. You have the Google Gaga. Him drive me in first. To be security minister. And then for him time, him do a dirty job, nasty job, a worthless job. Get all one of the guy who get the biggest money. Yeah, security minister. And fail. And him just get free money, do nothing. Andrew friend, so him name a food and him gone and get the next job in America now. That's how them operate. This clan and this how them operate. And Jamaica people still asleep. And the opposition them now really talk the right thing. Say, well then this is a dictatorship. What am I wait for? We don't know what go on, you know.
Benefiting.
We don't know what go on.
The people of Eastern Hanover deserve better. Finally, to the people of Eastern Hanover, we're strong. We are resilient. We will get our constituency back together. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Perkis. We are joined by Member of Parliament for Northeast St. Elizabeth, Zulika Jess, and we'll hear from her now.
This is a fire burner, man. These are the tough one where really burn the fire, you know.
Good morning. Today I come before you with a very heavy heart. Today I wish I didn't have to speak because I understand that by speaking, I run the risk of being accused of complaining. But I speak because I have a duty to the people of Northeastern St. Elizabeth who elected me to be their voice and to be their compass. My issues today are multiple, but I will give you the abridged version. And I'll start with the long-standing practice which has really merged into a convention whereby ministers or officials of the government ought properly to notify a sitting member of parliament before entering that MP's constituency to do any government-related issue. Now, that is not just a matter of parliamentary etiquette or constituency etiquette. It has its rationale in ensuring that as the duly elected representative of the people, you can be informed as to what is taking place in your constituency so that by extension you can inform the people, so that you can make yourself available when the government officials are present to continue to represent and advocate on behalf of your residents and your constituents on issues that concern them most, issues that you might not have an opportunity in the parliament to raise because of the rules of the parliament. In a time like this, a very sensitive time when the most vulnerable are most at risk, we expect that that practice would ensure that there is collaboration between the government officials and the elected representatives to ensure that persons can benefit. In my constituency, I have had to sit and watch as persons approach me the day before a visit to ask me if I heard that the Minister of Local Government is coming into the constituency. What is it that they're coming to do? Where can they meet them? And I have no answer to the questions because I was not notified in advance. In my constituency, first the Speaker of the House came, and perhaps she came in her capacity as an individual outside of the politics, but by her utterances, she made statements to suggest that she had visited communities, and every community that she visited, residents were not hopeful that they would get any assistance from me as the Member of Parliament. And I thought it was very unfortunate that in a time like this, we would seek to sow seeds of division and discord, because the Speaker of the House visited 3 communities, all strongholds of the Jamaica Labour Party. Not one PNP community was visited. Not one PNP community was given any of the care packages. In fact, the areas visited are well known: Rocky Hill, Santa Cruz, Burn Savannah, which is regarded by Edward Seaga's Little Tivoli. No reference was made to any other communities, but the speaker formed the conclusion that every community she visited were not hopeful that they would get help to build back houses or do repairs. And I speak on that because she came into the community on Saturday morning, and by Saturday afternoon, the Minister of Local Government also visited the constituency. He distributed care packages, 60 to the sitting Jamaica Labour Party councillor, but I was not informed of his visit prior. The three other councillors who happened to be PNP councillors were also not informed of the Minister of Local Government's visit. And of course, they got no packages
What
from
a
the minister.
disgrace.
Only the JLP council received packages. And finally, the Minister of Justice came on Friday, and my constituency office happened to be right next door to the venue that he visited. I was not notified.
Politics them playing, man. This dirty fucker.
I see the statement from the minister, and labeling a statement as being contained or filled with lies or accusing me of lying does not make it untrue, and it does not change the facts. The facts remain, as I stated in my earlier video, that the minister came into the constituency without prior notice. The minister came into the constituency, handed out or distributed supplies. It doesn't matter if it was 7 or 77. The parliamentary practice, the convention still remains. It is improper to visit an MP's constituency without prior notice. That is a...
And that piece of shit, Delroy Chuck, you know, he's say him is a justice minister. He's a justice piece of shit. You saw him behave, the whole of them, Desmond McKenzie, them go down there and give them supporter food from the same food aid where they overseas and America send. And now give the PNP them none. So if that in that part of dictatorship and politics, I don't know what is. Yeah, I don't know what is.
A practice that has long been observed. And if it is that the government is now departing from that practice, then we need to know why. Because we're striving towards good governance. In
Good
England,
governance.
they have codified that almost in
We're
a
not,
sense.
we're not striving to know good
Ministers'
governance.
code which set that out. That ministers of government must notify and not just give just passing notice on the day, but proper notice. Perhaps it is time for us to implement that here in Jamaica. Secondly, I speak on the issue of housing because the speaker made mention that persons that she spoke within the communities, the JLP communities that she visited, were not hopeful that they would get assistance. Like many of these members of parliament, I also received only $10 million as an allocation for housing repair. On the very first day that my constituency office reopened after the hurricane, we had over 600 persons in attendance at the office asking for housing assistance. Over 600. And when I went into communities like Mosquito Bottom in Windsor, they didn't even know that there was a deadline given by the government to report on matters such as those, so their information was never captured. I raise it to say to you that the government, you've heard, has given a directive that they are recommending that you give 100,000 to each beneficiary. I have not been able to do so. I have taken the decision that I cannot choose who should benefit and who should not. I cannot choose who should get help to put on back their roofs and who should not when everybody needs help to put on back their roofs. And so every one of those 600 and odd persons who applied for housing assistance, I've submitted their names. And so it means that they're not going to get 100,000 each. It means that some of them going to get $12,000, which is only probably 3 sheets of zinc.
Fuckery.
What do we do?
Can't work.
Funding? It's not sufficient.
Can't fucking work at all. No.
I have PNP people who voted for me. I have JLP
Can't
people who
work.
voted for me. I may have people who never support the politics before and them go vote. So I don't care who people vote for. When I go into a community to distribute supplies or to assist people, I have never asked them who they voted for. Once I have it, I'm going to share it, even though it means sometimes getting quarrels from your own supporters who feel as though you're helping the other side more than how you're helping them. And I say this to
That's what I'm saying. I like how that girl that come out with some fire. Just watch for her speech compared to Mark Golden's speech as the leader. And that me I talk about, I don't give a shit where nobody else want to say that is my view. When me I look upon it upon way where all Mr. GLP them are really a fight with fire. So what happened to the PNP them? She have some fire in her. And I love that. So what all of them will speak is she and Ian Hills really come, and everybody put in the effort like she. It's gonna be a more balanced thing. Then they say, well then the message you don't really have to go out there. When you can't come in a lukewarm thing, man. That's how me see it. And that are my constructive criticism. And that's all it is. Yeah.
to say that we do not support the practice of division. We do not support the practice of undermining duly elected representatives whose only intent is to provide help for people who are suffering. We see people who are in need. We don't see JLP and we don't see PNP. We see people who are vulnerable and who are depending on the government to make the right decisions so that their lives can be better. And that's the only objective that we have over here on the People's National Party side. Now, finally, I speak to the issue of infrastructure. The constituency that I represent suffered not just physical loss to the houses or roadwork was completely destroyed in areas, particularly in Santa Cruz, where it seems as if a bomb was dropped overnight. We have holes in the roadways which were over 20 feet deep. Now, I've tried my best to assist, but these are all temporary gaps, temporary stop gaps, by using the debris that had been washed away to try and fill back the holes so that people can't say that they are marooned. But what is the plan going forward? Because one more show of rain and the whole of that wash away, and people again going to be marooned. The people in Abraham, who even though we tried to fix the road and did the best that we could, they tell me that when rain fall, they still have to walk to get home up in the hills because the cars still can't manage because it's mud and dirt that was used. So it has slipped away and is slipping away. What is the plan? Are we going to wait until something disastrous happens before we put in place plans and solutions that will actually inure to the benefit of people? In Santa Cruz, we have a situation where all of the mud, all of the debris from the hills washed down into the town of Santa Cruz. So it is not uncommon for you to see people wearing dust masks when you visit Santa Cruz. What is the plan? The government has started to clear the roadway in Santa Cruz without any notification to me as the member of parliament. And now we are left with a situation where I don't know if there is funding that is left, but the road needs a water truck to actually wash away all of that mud, all of that debris. What is the plan for Santa Cruz? What is the plan for the areas in Thornton? Thornton has over 1,500, almost 2,000 persons, and 95% of Thornton lost roofs. Some houses have completely crumbled. What is the plan? Because my $10 million done, and I still don't know how we're going to help the rest of the residents in Windsor and the other areas, even in Brace River. That
$10 million just fucking what? Less than 50,000. Way less than 50,000. 39, 40, 41, between 39 and 41,000 pounds. Right? If it's so much, I'm gonna go check it properly. But that can run a constituency of so much people to this kind of disaster. Go and play politics, man, and them know that. At least $100 million should have allocated. So, yo, me have a laugh, brother. Sometime, no.
got flooded out and who go around and pick up 2 sheets of zinc and nail it on or tack it back on. But them know so the next shower of rain, them a go wet up again and another strong gust of wind, it a go blow off again. What is
Government
the
don't
plan?
care, man.
I close by saying that I have absolutely no intention to be cantankerous, and if I appear to be somewhat passionate,
Don't
forgive me.
apologize, man.
But when you represent people who see you as
This is the thing, you know, no still a play the distant thing, you know. What you try to talk about are the right thing, what you try to apologize now, what you know, and that me I say, you know, me no send to the PMP them, you know, because you come out and you nail the thing on the head. And you come yes or no, I come try to say soften it up again. Well, you know, me no saying it's gonna make your whole speech. You make it look like it really. Me don't understand. Me don't understand. Why? No, sir.
as their only hope, who come to you because they have nobody else to turn to. We have a duty to speak on their behalf, and we have a duty to hope that the government listens and the government acts. Thank you.
Yeah, man, you should never take back the talk about seems to be cantankerous or something like that. Of course, you have to be. What you talk about that for? But anyway, that's why you cannot lose it. When I give you an encore still. Yeah, man. Yeah, give you encore. Although you shouldn't come say that in the end. Because you make it look back water down. Because me a praise you and I say, well then you burn some good fire from your heart. But yeah, come try this. Nah, you don't have to do that. Just do your thing. And that's all it is. Make it stay as it is. You never hear the GLP party then come out, come burn fire like how them do in the parliament and come talk about Rete and Lele. They serve them sound this. No, them do it deliberately. Without no apology. So this is what me I talk about, you know. When people me I talk about how the PMP them really, you know what I mean? So anyway, well listen what Mark Golding I say, but me know we will dice up the Mark Golding speech and him hand movement and the type of speech where delivering don't effective at all. You know, effective to me, it don't effective for a lot of Jamaican, it don't effective to surely the Labour Party. Because they look like them hear that and them love them things there, the soft approach and the choir boy thing. You know what I mean? Anyway, we hear what I want.
Thank you, Member of Parliament. It will appear as if we're on the cusp of a health crisis. And what we have recognized is that there is a suboptimal response from the government in this regard. We're going to have our opposition spokesperson for
Oh, those are coming for Mark.
Health and Wellness, MP Alfred Dawes, to address the matter.
Thank you, Senator. Leader of the opposition, my colleague, members of parliament, journalists here, those who are tuning in, good morning. I also wish to greet those who are tuning in merely with the disgraceful intention of trying to distort what we say and to edit clips to present a false narrative to suit their own agenda. I greet those who have spent their lives playing politics to stop playing politics with people's lives. Today, I give you an update, having met with the technical team at the Ministry of Health, the Minister himself, and being on the ground, conducting missions, meeting with persons who are actively involved in trying to improve and assess the health situation in the most badly affected Western parishes. We must give what is due to Caesar. The Ministry of Health has, in fact, done quite a bit, as Dr. Campbell said earlier, in terms of being responsive to deploying some of the clinics and the restoration of services at some clinics and the improvement of the infrastructure of some hospitals, such as Cornwall Regional Hospital, having no had a roof replaced by Médecins Sans Frontières or Doctors Without Borders. We, however, are very concerned about whether or not public health care is getting the attention it deserves. We have to understand that the crisis that is unfolding now out west, it is not merely the realm of the Ministry of Health and the technocrats, doctors, nurses, and vector control workers, public health inspectors. It is not under their control. What is happening is that it is a multidisciplinary, multifaceted approach that is needed to stave off the impending crisis. We are already in the midst of a leptospirosis outbreak, and we could have seen this coming. We ought to focus not only on trying to send out information to say avoid streams and water, avoid rodents, but we ought to look at how we can address the environmental factors that are causing this outbreak. Garbage collection is an issue. It is piling up not just out west but across the island, even in my constituency that was largely spared from the brunt of the hurricane. Water is an issue. We heard from the MPs that water is rising in some areas. There is a stench of dead animals, and you cannot simply say to people avoid contaminated water when that is the only water that they have available. So we have to look at the cleanup, we have to look at the access, and it is this multimodal approach that we're going to have in tandem with the work of the Ministry of Health that is going to stave off a worsening of the leptospirosis outbreak, as well as try to mitigate, if not completely avoid, the threat of dengue and chickpea. When we speak about leptospirosis being an issue, it is a disease that is largely mild, but when it gets bad, it gets bad. And it can lead to death because of liver failure, bleeding out, renal failure, and therefore early diagnosis and treatment is essential. Questioning the capacity of the Ministry of Health to adequately confirm cases of leptospirosis. Do we have the capacity locally to test for leptospirosis? What thoughts are being given to deploying rapid kits into affected areas where we can test for the antibodies that are elevated when you have an acute infection? Early testing helped in COVID, and anyone with a passing knowledge of medicine understands that the earlier you intervene in a disease, the better the outcome, as well as the less likelihood you will have long-term complications. So we need to be testing. To say that we have 11 cases of leptospirosis begs questions. Are we testing enough? Are we missing cases? And if we are faced with a national outbreak, can we ramp up testing to have results back to see whether or not the case that we're dealing with in front of us as a physician is really leptospirosis or not? So we need that information from the Ministry of Health, and what are they saying about the use of rapid kits that can be made available at clinics and even with partnerships with private doctors, as well as distribution through volunteers who are going into the communities conducting medical missions. There are still critical shortages of basic medical supplies, manpower, and of course, functioning equipment, some of which would have been damaged during the passage of the hurricane. We know that there are patients who have lost medication because they do not have a fridge that is working, because they do not have a generator. And therefore, you have to be concerned about non-compliance as a result of these socioeconomic factors. that are now more than ever playing a role in healthcare. We have gotten some complaints about the process to facilitate missions. There seems to be a lack of coordination on the ground, even if persons are fully registered and they have been listed as partners. They still face some obstacles, whether or not the team on the ground were expecting them, and who are they partnering with to mobilize the people in the community. In many instances, if the members of parliament are not a part of the mission initially, they do not have the wherewithal to rapidly get out persons and mobilize them to take advantage of the free medical services. So again, this is an echo for partnership and not just trying to have hegemony over the relief efforts. And this includes the medical missions. Now, when we speak about the way forward, because this is not going, the situation that exists on the ground is not going away anytime soon. There are too many people who are homeless. There are too many people who are marginally living on the fringes of survival. And as a result of that, the conditions that exist for leptospirosis to continue and for dengue and chickpea to have outbreaks here. We're only 90 miles away from Cuba, and they have more people with leptospirosis, with dengue and chickpea than there are people living in Jamaica, over 3 million. The conditions exist and they will continue to exist for a while. So we have to plan accordingly. We cannot wait until we see a spike in cases and then we have a knee-jerk reaction. We must be able to anticipate that there will be an outbreak, there will be a spike, certain communities will be affected more likely than others, and we try to stave it off and put in mitigating measures. I don't believe lying on PAHO. Cuba is dealing with their own epidemics right now. They have best practices that, because of the relationship that we've had with Cuba for quite some time, they're willing to share with us. Let us call on the Cubans for help. They have a very good system where they look at the environmental factors. Is there a lot of garbage? Is there a lot of stagnant water? Is there increased rainfall in the area? All of which we know has been described as happening out west. You look at these environmental factors, you look at the behavior.
You know, that is a good idea, but never in the wildest dream they would ever try to bring back no Cuban and Jamaican again. Especially when Donald Trump in a power. Because him make them not really renew the Cuban doctors them contract, you know. The American frighten them bad. So them prefer to save them visa than to not carry out that. So them not gonna really bring back that again. Bring back no Cuban doctor again. Not under Andrew Holness, not under when Trump ruled. So that is a no-no. And that is the facts, yeah?
Of the people, are they bathing in the rivers? Are they using exposed to contaminated water? You look at their access. Do they have access to healthcare, access to public education, to resources? If they get sick, they can report in or go to a hospital. And of course, you have to look at the history of the area. There are some places in Westmoreland that have a history of typhoid. Now, when you factor in all of these determinants that contribute towards an outbreak, you go in, you engage community leaders, you launch public education campaigns, you clean up the place, sanitize, ensure that you have adequate garbage collection, ensure that you have potable water, you treat breeding sites, you do fogging, get rid of the vectors, and then you may reach a point where you do not have a spike in cases. And that is real primary prevention. That is the basis of public health, which has been proven to work over 100 years now. So maybe 200 years from the cholera epidemic in England. So we want to entreaty those who are in charge of the disaster recovery to employ early warning systems for healthcare now. Not just surveillance to say that you have spikes, but predicting the likely locations of outbreaks and intervening. And to do that, you must combine environmental data, behavioral patterns, historical outbreaks, and you must also ramp up testing capabilities, confirmation testing, as well as introducing rapid testing. And with that, we can have early intervention, the simple penicillin that can save lives in the case of leptospirosis, or the treatment of renal failure with fluids early out. Dengue, you identify when it has become the hemorrhagic fever where you're bleeding out and have early intervention as well. And we must have a mechanism where you have real-time reporting of fever. If you have a fever, there must be a way for you to report that you have it so that you can get tested. Vector control has to be augmented by private contractors, bringing in back the part-time workers, but the schedule for vector control cannot be such that communities such as mine in Southeast St. Catherine basically have fogging once every 2 weeks at best, and we have 18 communities, and we are plagued with mosquitoes in Portmore. So we have to ramp up vector control immediately, and because garbage pileup leads to rodent infestation, we have to ensure that garbage is being collected across the island in a timely manner. For communities where you cannot effectively solve the issue, especially if there's rising groundwater, evacuate the residents. Get them out of the conditions that are going to lead to respiratory illnesses, waterborne diseases, as well as those that are vector-borne. And of course, you have to, and this is echoing the call of all my colleagues, do not try to do it alone. Engage both sides of the political divide. Engage community-based organizations, the church, community leaders, get everybody on board to identify the most vulnerable, to pinpoint the areas where you have to have a heightened presence. And this is the only way we can have an effective response. We may have to consider looking at the distribution of mosquito nets and repellents to avoid persons who are living outdoors and in shelters getting bitten by mosquitoes. And of course, the Ministry of Health has to anticipate that if all of these measures fail, we're going to have a surge in patients coming into the hospitals. What is the surge plan in terms of bed capacity, in terms of staffing, testing, and treatment? We have to have a preparation, a plan in place for the worst case scenario. And then of course, rehabilitation, especially when it comes to CHIKV, is important for long-term productivity and pain control. And in all of this, I left this for last, mental health. People are numb now. They are not feeling and processing what is happening. You cannot have a psychologist or a mental health team going out and tell them better must come and then send them back to their tarpaulins to live. We must have coupled with mental health checks and interventions, hope for the people that their conditions will be improved in very short order, and we're not forgetting about them when the news teams have left and they are on their own and we're looking at this situation as a 9-day wonder. We must have interventions coupled with the psychological effects, psychiatrists getting involved. All of this must be complemented by improvement, tangible improvement in their lives, so you give the people hope. This is where I leave it. This is what is happening on the ground. This is what we must prepare for. And if we don't prepare for it, we can
pay for it.
Have the
don't prepare, pay for it.
We will pay for it in lives.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, MP Dawes. I'm going to invite the leader of the opposition to close out the presentations in this morning's press con.
Still morning. Good morning, everyone, members of the media, listeners, my colleagues who are here. We wanted to have this press conference this morning. It's the second press conference we've had since the hurricane hit Jamaica. First one was about a week after the hurricane hit. We're now about 4 weeks since that date, 3 weeks since the press conference. And I wanted to have the elected representatives of the people in the constituencies that have been extremely badly affected to have the chance, I wanted to give them a chance to describe to the media and the public what they're experiencing and the deficiencies in the response, the gaps that need to be filled, and the decisions that need to be taken. This is not to be anything other than responsible representatives of the people to bring.
You see, I know business what nobody want to say. But this is Omar Golden come out. Really, I don't know. This is not like firing shot. Not like that. He just come out quiet with him and them kiss together. And to be truthful, nervous in a way. No confidence is not there. When at times supposed to be confident because you have all the momentum to come out and confident. Just like Ian Yales, just like Jesse. And even Dawes as well, although him kind of quiet, but him more direct, right? So Mark Golden the leader, and me no business. Me no like him the presentation when I do because it's too soft and that Myra has cloud worries. In a time like this, when the other side they're on fire, they might play the politics. We not say we have to play politics, you know. But we have to counteract the politics where they might play in a one tough way. But them say, well, we mean business. And the people will listen more and hear and run with that. And say, well then, yes, love Mark Golden on the speech. Nothing kind of quiet thing, brother. I shoot me at talk, I'm in a business.
To the attention of the authorities and the public, what needs to...
See, when Mark Golden under, him under like that. You saw Ian Yales come out and him and all over the place and him really aggressive. That's what we want to see. That's what me want to see. That's what the supporter they want to see. Unless I'm an idiot and boo-boo. Right? I'm telling you, there's nothing a fire. Mark Golden are going like a choir boy too much and I play with these people, brother. As a leader. I'm the leader, you know. If you come out now, Jesse come out wicked. We couldn't get Mark Golden an encore for this, where the speech and now. And that is just the truth.
To be done to make the overall response more effective. We know that there are hundreds of thousands of people whose lives have been turned upside down by this cataclysmic event. And the effects of that event are ongoing. We talk about phases.
Nah, throw a punch, you know.
Initial response morphing into recovery and other phases. But the truth is that because of the very ad hoc arrangements that have been put in place thus far, the level of normalcy and stability that have returned to the lives of people in the badly affected areas is very erratic. Some people have received relief because of good fortune, happen to be living in close to the major arterial roads, or they have had the benefit of interventions from international and local NGOs and disaster relief organizations, but many, many others have had little or no.
You see him talk a little part there, and I'm not trying to say no. Him say for because them live near the roadside and they might have benefit from international givers or whatever. But him not really talk so well and or have access from political alignment directly. Why him afraid to talk them things there? That's why I'm trying to show you. I'm not busy with anybody want to say no. I'm not busy with anybody want to say personally. I get on top of it. Him should have said no. Him said them two things there. They might have access because they live near the road and from international givers or whatever, or private. But him leave off, he say, well then, are from politically alignment. Yeah, because they might look out for them people who vote for them. Why not? Why Mark Wallen say that? If I Andrew Wallace, I'm not shout out that loud on top of him voice. And everybody know what true me attack. I'm going to use that as an opportunity. And that go on in a real life. That go on in a real life. And Mark Wallen point out that right there, so. Him say something about international givers. People might have access to that or something else. But him doing so well then, or even might be politically alignment straight. So they will know him at all about. But him not say that. Me not understand. You know, this fuck, yeah, let me tell you something, man.
Interventions. And so the situation is not an even one. And there are far too many people still who are suffering from the initial effects of this hurricane. The opposition, as I said at the first press conference, and I want to repeat it now, we must not seek to score political points as a competitor of the government. This is not the time for that.
Well, that them are doing it. So them are do that. Why you don't want to do that? You see, him still play decent, you know. And I play a choir boy, you know. Him talk that so much time. Andrew Wallace say, well, then they want to work together when them just TV election. And look what them are do now. So them are trying to score a political point over and over. Them are going to the people in constituency, don't notify them. So what is that? The political point them are trying to score. So when you come now and talk, so that is what I try to say, you know. The same thing where you attack and the same thing them are do. So what you have to do, you have to go and strive to talk it like so well then do like what them are do. Nobody come talk where you go ease back and playing a decent choir boy around here at all, brother. Because look, PNP people vote for you know. PNP people vote for Ono. PNP people vote for Ono. So I know why I hold back. And I play choir boy with these people. And you are the leader, you know. I mean, also some of the leader, you know, they, just like what me I say right now, you know. Him shouldn't have said that. So some of them get the food package from directly political alignment. Who align with Labour Party, and them I get the food. Why you don't want to say that? This is what I try to show you, we never get no better, you know. You're going to dig yourself more deeper in a blood clot hole. And that's how me see it. Because it takes leadership, you know. Whether you're government or your opposition, it takes leadership. Right? Because you have to lead. Make people feel and see say you lead. And attack the right thing. Because I can't sit down right here, so run my computer. And can look on that and dissect that and just bore a hole in that and say, who's a leader? And that the people might do. You know what that they might do. So why you don't want to come out and say, simple as that, some people get heard by politically alignment. Even that you couldn't say, brother. You look like them will be you are something, are you afraid for them or something? I don't know what go on. And you are the leader, you're supposed to have said that. And that them are doing it for true. So why you can't say it? And so you let them have the hook with that. Like you choose the word carefully. That me have to deal with, you know. Me's a man who like to do that, you know. I like to do things like this. Constructive criticism. Yeah, man. And that's all it is, because that might hurt some people, but I care zero.
We've just gone through a general election nearly 2 months ago. This is a time when Jamaica's facing a huge disaster, an economic disaster, a social disaster, a humanitarian disaster. And the role of the opposition at a time like this is to help the government to respond as effectively as possible, because we want Jamaica to get back on its feet. We represent people who need that to happen. So when you see us perhaps disagreeing with the government on a particular issue, it is not as a result of being cantankerous or being trivial.
You're not sure, kind of. You see, so why you have to talk that for? Everybody know that in it. You do your work. So why you repeat yourself like it? This man talk like him free for the government, like them have a gun on him head or something. I mean, I don't know. And they can't go on like this. Because you never hear the Labour Party come out and talk like this. Yeah, I don't know, I understand. Because I understand.
Petty. We take issue with those things that we think are fundamental and that we should not allow to be implemented in the originally proposed way, because it will have a deleterious effect. It will have an effect on the governance of the country or on the response to the disaster, which is suboptimal and needs to be improved. And that is how we have been attempting to approach this. Equity, transparency, and accountability are vital in the response to a disaster. We have heard numerous reports that political representatives of the governing party are being used to distribute government relief, taxpayer funded or donor funded through the government relief in ways which they have no legal or political standing constitutionally to play that role. Elected representatives must be included in things that are happening in their constituency so that they have information, so that their information can be shared with those who are operating on the ground, and you can work together with all stakeholders, including those who are representing the other side of the political fence, to get the best possible solution in a difficult situation. That is not happening. I have been bringing these incidents, as I hear of them, I have been bringing them to the attention of the Prime Minister through WhatsApp. He has not responded to me at all since last week, the Saturday before last, 10 days ago. I have not heard from him in response to any of my messages. So when the Minister of Information says that we have been communicating constantly, that is simply untrue. There has been a total cessation of any communication. It's certainly coming in my direction from the...
All that the line, you know, you should not talk that more bowler. With more resilient, you know, talk that more bowler. Yeah, using the finger and said, no, that not happen. The Minister of Information, Dean Dana Morrison Dixon, which one name, it's untrue, you are telling. There's nothing goes up. And put her up on the spot and stop talk the soft way. Was Andrew Wallace and them in this position? Oh gosh. And Andrew Wallace all over the place. He will be on fire. This is the two different things I talk about, you know. Yeah.
Prime Minister. I note that there's a decision that has been taken to enact legislation to establish a new reconstruction agency, the acronym NARA, National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, I believe, which will have wide powers to ensure that decisions can be taken very quickly when it comes to rebuilding, for example. I know that this is something that the private sector have been agitating for, and I see the need for it. But where you are circumventing normal procedures because the circumstances that we're in require that, it is all the more important that the thing be done in a transparent manner and that all critical stakeholders should be at the table when those decisions are being taken or being reviewed. The Prime Minister, in making that announcement, spoke of a broad-based governance structure for this new authority. I had called for something of that nature right after the hurricane. I wrote to him about it. However, I noticed that he, at his press conference when he announced it, he made no mention of the opposition being at the table. I don't know whether that omission was inadvertent or deliberate, but I can tell you that if we want Jamaica to get back on her feet as quickly as possible, if we want to avoid social dislocation, and if we want people to feel that the response is equitable, is well designed, and is without political bias, it is important that critical stakeholders be at the table. And the opposition, with 28 seats in the parliament and almost the same number of votes in the last election as the government, should be part of that process. We are willing to serve.
You should demand in that, brother. Demand in it.
All of the committees that have been established under the cabinet, including the private sector committees and so on, the opposition is not present on any of those committees. The one concern I have as well is in the way in which the post-Melissa response effort is being administered. Jamaica has a robust legal framework for responding to disasters. The National Emergency Response legislation called the Disaster Risk Management Act, which we passed in 2015 and which the government used extensively during the pandemic. Despite the Constitution having provisions for states of national disaster to be declared, and there's a constitutional framework for addressing it, the government preferred to use the disaster risk legislation to respond to the pandemic. What we have seen in relation to this disaster is that it is effectively being marginalized, partly because ODPEM, which is a critical institution within that legislative framework, has been denuded of authority, status, and capacity over the last decade. And this is unfortunate because the legal framework which exists in Jamaica is well designed in accordance with international standards. And it contemplates responses being at the national level, at the parish level, through the municipal corporations, which used to be called parish councils, and at the community level. They're all supposed to be integrated so information can feed its way from the ground up seamlessly to the National Emergency Committee, NEOC, the National Emergency Operations Center, and decisions can be made on the basis of complete information or the best possible information, and then directed and resourced through that structure so that the ground gets the benefit of being comprehensively included in whatever the relief is. What we have seen is that structure is not functioning. The parish councils have not been engaged and resourced so that they can play their part, despite them having disaster professionals and other professionals available to them to play the role they're supposed to play. And instead, we're seeing parallel structures being put in place, which are essentially running alongside the legal structure that exists, and in many cases superseded them, but without proper coordination. Those parallel structures are those set up by cabinet, and also those involving our international partners, the NGOs and others, without whom we'd have been in an even worse situation than we are now. We're very grateful to all of the agencies that have been here putting a lot of effort, but the coordination needs to be sorted out, and the legal structure that exists to ensure that relief is distributed fairly, equitably, and comprehensively based on the best possible information on the ground. That needs to be activated properly and not circumvented. I close by reiterating that we have value to bring to the table in the response to this disaster. We have representatives at the local government level. We actually have more representatives at the local government level marginally than the government do. We have a substantial number of representatives at the parliamentary level. They are all on the ground getting information daily from residents as to what is happening. The political organizations of both parties go into every nook and cranny of the country, and therefore the organizations are well placed to get information to feed into the disaster response system. That is not being leveraged. That is an asset that the country has, and which the disaster legal framework contemplates being engaged, but is not being engaged and is being marginalized. And that is why we're having suboptimal results, where people are still a month after the disaster feeling abandoned by the government because they haven't seen anything happening to take them out of their plight. The housing situation, we've heard the announcement about the 5,000 container homes that will be brought in and distributed through the NHT. That is not likely to come into effect based on what the Prime Minister himself said until the second month of next year.
All that again, you should never endorse that, you should not fight against that. Right? I mean, the government find different way, build the house, them things are joke. Because if you have to build, get no container house. Motherland house them from Portmore, the house them build already, just move the slab, them just use that same effort, right? And system. Container and make people sleep, Them thick piece of iron and make people sleep, no matter how they go look and paint them up and make them look like a house. Continue with the house in them. So you should never have bought no container house, Margolin. You should not fucking say, well then we don't agree with it. That means you can at least when us a PNP never agree with it. But you are trying to endorse it right away. And I tell you what now go, I tell you, brother, I don't know, I don't know. Them people here. Should never endorse that. You should say, no, we don't believe in that. We believe in the same. Get the house them, because the house them, actually the thing them build already. We have to just move them. And the same thing like the container them, Move them and fit them up. And that build Portmore and a lot of places. So we're going to talk about container house. And you support it. Come on, man. Come on.
In the interim, what is the solution for the people who have no shelter?
Come on.
The thousands of Jamaicans
who
are coming into the Christmas period. Every time it rains them wet up. Their children, old people, pregnant mothers, persons with disabilities. What is going to happen to them? I said at the last press conference, in response to a question from the media, off the cuff, I was asked what did I think would be an appropriate figure to empower the constituencies with. I'd said 50 million. Certainly, a $50 million allocation would allow MPs to respond to the huge need in a more meaningful way. Instead, they've been put in this invidious situation where essentially they're asked to allocate 100 people when the needs of their constituents are thousands of people. And that simply is just a recipe for a lot of frustration and bitterness. Government needs to wheel and come again with this and rapidly put in place a response on the ground to the shelter needs. It is an opportunity also to run some income on the ground where people have lost their jobs or their businesses have been closed and get the economy moving. We could have mobilized brigades of people who need income to help with the cleanup, which is now very sporadic and needs to be dealt with the public health risks that Dr. Dawson has spoken to again. And also with the shelter issues. Let us mobilize people on the ground, have some money flowing through those communities, get the economy back at the grassroots level so that people can have some hope and so that the needs of the people are being addressed in a efficient and quick way. We will play our part if we are allowed to do so, but we bemoan the misinformation being fed about the role we're playing. We are feeling very excluded from all.
And you should not talk about if we are allowed to do so. You should not demand that the opposition play a part, because this is part of the Constitution when it be like a disaster like this. Remember, you get the same amount of vote actually. So you should not talk about if we are allowed. I mean, not like that. You should have demand so the opposition get involved and play some role. And why don't I want to take them out court and all them things there? Because that is the right. I don't know what go on still. I want me to figure it out.
Decision making and the way in which the system of relief is operating on the ground is not in accordance with established norms and is also resulting in suboptimal distribution of relief because the relief is not being done on the basis of proper information as to the needs. So that is why we will be having regular press conferences going forward, because we're now at a time when the country needs to change gear in a forward direction, and we feel that the government
I hope the next one is going to be more fiery.
needs to be guided by persons who are the feeling it on the ground, the neglect and so on. And it's our role, I think, to do that. The Parliament doesn't lend itself, as currently managed, to having that kind of open dialogue, that opportunity to share what we have to say. So we will have to do it in this manner and other manners. So I thank the media for having given us this time, and we look forward to partnering with you as we play our part in getting Jamaica back on her feet. God bless Jamaica, land we love. One Jamaica. Unity is a must. Let us pull together and rebuild our country. Thank you.
The soft talking now go help, to be truthful. The soft talking not going to help. And it's truth. Because like really about to them needs. Because this them I look for, soft leadership. Yes, soft leadership. And that's all it is. Soft rascal leadership. And we don't need that right now. We need really robust leadership. Yeah, man. That we need really robust leadership. No soft rascal thing. And that we say, I go on a lot of way. Let me say I go on in a lot of rascal way. So me don't know. But in the end of the day, still, at this moment in time, and this is the truth, we are giving a 7 out of 10 for this press briefing or press conference and all on this. So we are giving 7 out of 10. And the reason why I give 7 out of 10 is because Jess and Ian Niels turn up the thing. Yeah. Everybody turned up like them, then the press conference will be buzzing. So we are going to 7 out of 10. Big up on yourself, Jess and Ian Niels, because kind of come put some fire in anything, you know what I mean? So, I just that I'm going to do. 7 out of rascal 10. First press briefing I do after election. A 4 out of 10 me give because when you come and surrender and talking like a baby. So you just say it go. Panda 1 year, 7 out of 10, and that's all it is. So we get another encore, especially for Jess and Ian Yales. Yeah, man, serious thing. So, that's my thing on that. Because me different me deal with my thing and judge my thing. I care zero. People want to say or whatever. But you know, in the end of the day, you have to deal with it that way. You know, no joke about that. You have to deal with it that way, upon that levels. Talk what you say, talk the truth. You have to be you, natural. I mean, no one rascal fool, you know. No one can fool, you know. No one is supposed to fool, you know, neither. In a lot of way. But overall, I want to see a more powerful PMP press briefing. Yeah, man. I want to see that, yeah. Powerful press briefing in a lot of way. No rascal dibby thing. No dibby thing, people. No dibby thing at all. We've got an limited time. So we can line up that video before we go. Yeah, man, so right now we have to just look on the reality of certain things, you know. I don't really, as I say, I don't really petticoat up certain things. And not because of my party. I can't do like certain people, you know, because they're not real. I'm sure I know I'm real, I have to just start things that I see. I can't go in the corner and I go and I say, well, then something not right, but I go like something right, are you afraid to talk? No, not me a bumble. Never, ever. No, sir. Never, ever. So we can play a little of this.
Together, my team, every time. Love, love, and love.
Yeah, you know, we have to just promote greatness when we see. So we say Andrew Steve do a good job. He do more than the government. People them gather around and that is it. That gonna be remembered. Don't worry, you know. Because we see people do them things there. Not because we hype or for rascal, you know, but genuinely, yeah, man, you have to big them up. And that's my thing there, same speed. So we give thanks and praises to the Most High God that liveth and reigneth in the heart of each and every man, continually, itinerally. Yeah, man, give thanks and praises every time. So we have to do that. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. We have to do that. So anyway, we're there so now. There so we kind of after we can move because there's a good little while. So big up each and every one we pass through upon the pod. Yeah, I drink some hot green tea in the morning, yeah. And you know, green tea make you sleep too as well, you know. But it's good for you, it's good for so I start to belch, you know. It's good for circulation, you know, and things like that. But you know, hot green tea without no sugar. Just hot and warm, same speed. Yeah, man. So I just say go, big up on yourself, each and every one again who passed through Pandit Chat. So yeah, as I'm saying, give the PMP 7 out of 10 for this press briefing, yeah. They never fire off all cylinder at all. And that me say. But anyway, that is it. So what we can do nothing more to just say what we think about it, talk your mind and your opposition and your opinion. And that's all it is. So anyway, out and running, out and gunning, out.
A big sound a play a big tune.
Jah Holy Emmanuel, boy. Jah Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. Well, Gideon go busting out them head again. So much oppression poor people face right now. Them crying out for freedom. Them crying out for free speech. Then said them want to stand up like them black liberators, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther and the ancient monarchy where come pave the way, sir. Free up black people from me tear down them fence, yeah. Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon, well, the Gideon go busting out them head. I listen, I the power of the Trinity. Give us the teaching of His Majesty, and we know war, not devil philosophy. Not tentacle for man's skin is abnormal, significant well to the
on Sticky Stocky TV. If your finger is not sticky, subscribe. But if your finger sticky, do not subscribe on Sticky Stocky TV. Big up yourself.